Chapter 632. Book title. Senior Sister Zhang and Senior Brother's Hobbies Are Good. Special author Sima Yue looked at the shadow on the ground that was elongated by the moonlight. That crooked figure did not seem normal. Before she turned around, she could smell the scent of alcohol. Who are you? What are you doing standing here? A drunken question came from behind. Sima Yue turned around and saw a lady in a fiery red dress with a drunken look on her face. She was holding a jar of wine in her hand and looking at her with her head tilted. I'll look for Teacher Su, Ma Yue said. Looking for my master? Han Miaoshuang narrowed her eyes and looked at Sima Yue. Then she smiled and said with certainty, You're Sima Yue, right? Exactly. Yue greets Senior. Sima Yue cupped her hands towards Han Miaoshuang. What senior sister? We call her senior sister here. Han Miaoshuang waved her hand and said, I was still asking them during the day when you would arrive. And you're already here at night. That's pretty fast. Come on, I'll take you inside. You have to follow me closely. Otherwise, I can't guarantee where you will appear. Sima Yue looked at the array with a trace of interest. She did not expect that this array not only had the function of a maze, it also had the function of a teleportation array. Yue will definitely follow senior sister. Didn't you say senior sister? Han Miaoshuang corrected again. Teacher Su is just my teacher, not my master. So you are her disciple, but not my senior sister. You can only be called a senior sister. He actually didn't accept you as a disciple? This time, it was Han Miaoshuang's turn to be surprised. This was not in line with his character. Senior, did you just come back from barbecued meat? Sima Yue smiled and changed the topic. How did you know? Han Miaoshuang's interest was piqued. Other than the smell of wine, there's also the smell of charcoal on you, Sima Yue explained. Are you familiar with these scents? Han Miaoshuang grabbed her hand. Seeing Sima Yue nod, she asked excitedly. Then you definitely know how to cook? A little. Sima Yue did not know why she was so excited. She pondered for a while and replied. Then what will you do? Barbecue? I know how to barbecue meat. Sima Yue said. It's not just barbecue, I can cook other dishes too. She didn't say that out loud, because she realized that Han Miaoshuang's expression was a little off. It was different from the average foodie. But what was wrong, she couldn't tell at the moment. Really? Then can you cook for me? Han Miaoshuang said. As a new junior brother, it's only right for you to cook for your senior sister. And it's settled then. You go find master first, then I'll go find you. The two of them just happened to walk into the courtyard. Han Miaoshuang patted her shoulder and left, looking very excited. Sima Yue saw that she was so excited that she seemed to have sobered up. This person, does she like to eat that much? She muttered as she looked at her back. She likes to eat and refine pills equally. A man suddenly appeared beside Sima Yue, giving her a shock. Sima Yue looked at the man who was at least 2 meters tall who suddenly appeared, and was shocked. She asked subconsciously, Who are you? Such a tall, strong and rough-looking man, compared to Su Jin. That pretty boy, they were two extremes, right? I'm Xiao Xiao Master's third disciple. I used to be the youngest, but now that you're here, you're the youngest. Xiao. Xiao Xiao Xiao. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. This time her whole body twitched. How could he say his name so naturally in such a state? Xiao Senior Xiao Xiao that is? She's called Han Miaoshuang, Master's second disciple. She came 10 years earlier than me. Xiao. Her biggest hobby is to eat. No matter when or where. As long as she's not refining pills, she'll definitely have food on her hands. So exaggerated? Sima Yue was shocked. This was already beyond the scope of a foodie? You said that you're the youngest, and she's the second disciple. Then what about the eldest disciple? Kang Junchul? He came out once you called him. Xiao. Ah. Before Sima Yue could react, Xiao Xiao had already shouted at the top of his lungs. Eldest senior brother, youngest junior brother is here. No one responded. Fire! Fire! Someone's going to be disfigured. Xiao Xiao shouted a few more times. Bang! A door on the second floor was violently opened. Kang Junchul walked to the balcony and shouted at Xiao Xiao in the courtyard. Su Xiao Xiao, why are you howling in the middle of the night? Do you not want to live anymore? You dare to disturb my sleep. I'll beat you to death. Eldest senior brother, you've already slept for a whole day. Su Xiao said. It's only been a day, and you've already woken me up? Since when have I only slept for a day? Kong Junchul was even angrier, and wanted to beat him up. Youngest junior brother is here, Su Xiao said. Kong Junchul then saw Sima Yue behind him. Sima Yue also saw the appearance of the senior brother. Under the moonlight, his face looked more delicate than a woman's. His loose nightgown was casually tied, and his long hair was casually tossed behind his head. His half-awake eyes were so charming under the moonlight. Nothing is more important than sleep. See you tomorrow, youngest junior brother. If you howl again, I'll throw you out, Kong Junchul threatened. You can't beat me, Su Xiao said honestly. Alchemy. Jiang Junjie tossed these two words and went back, leaving behind a confused Sima Yu and an unhappy Su Xiao. He asked you to make alchemy? Sima Yue asked. He said he doesn't want to fight with me. He wants to compete with me in alchemy, Su Xiao said. Does senior brother Jiang like to sleep? Sima Yue asked curiously. Other than alchemy, he sleeps all the time, Su Xiao said. And he hates it when people disturb his sleep. He has a bad temper when he wakes up. He actually likes to sleep so much. Sima Yue sighed. Yes, he likes to sleep just like how second senior sister likes to eat. He doesn't miss a single moment, Su Xiao said. Sima Yue looked at Su Xiao meaningfully and asked, what do you usually do? Previously, Shui Rong and the others said that Su Jin's disciples were very special. Now that she saw that one of them could eat, and the other could sleep, she was suddenly curious about what was so special about the guy beside her. Alchemy, Su Xiao replied. What else do you do besides alchemy? Clean the house, wash the clothes for the three of them, and clean the whole yard. Su Xiao picked out the better things to say. In this world, there were actually people who liked to do housework. Sima Yu looked at the spotless courtyard, and could only imagine how strong his obsessive-compulsive disorder must be to be able to do that. Ahem, senior brother and senior sister's interests and hobbies are very special. Where is teacher Su? She didn't see Su Jin and asked. Gentleman's Alliance. Chapter 633. Master went out during the day. I don't know what he's doing. He told me to wait for you and take you to your room. Come with me, Xiao said. I've already tidied up your room. By the way, Master said that you were frightened today and asked you to have a good rest. He went to deal with it. Sima Yue paused. Did Su Jin already know what she had done today? And he even said that she was frightened? Was he sure he didn't say anything wrong? He must have known what he had done today. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said that he was going to deal with it. Since he knew, how could he say that he was frightened? This is your room. Xiao brought her to a small building at the side. She opened the door and said, the small building that we used to live in with the four of us is already full. This was used to store miscellaneous items. Now that I've tidied it up, it definitely looks like a bedroom. The bedding, tables, and chairs are all new. No one has used them before. Sima Yue walked in and saw that the house was neatly tidied up. Even she, who loved cleanliness, could not find a single flaw. Thank you, Senior Su. It's late. You should rest first. If there's anything else, we can talk about it tomorrow. Su Xiaowang turned and left. Sima Yue walked to the door and looked at the courtyard. There were a total of 4 small buildings. One was where Su Jin and the others lived. One was where she was currently living. And the other 2 were for unknown purposes. However, thinking about it, everyone who lived here were alchemists, so it should be related to alchemy. Other than that, there were some flower beds in the courtyard, and some of them were quite rare. There was also a large piece of land behind the courtyard, which should be used to grow medicinal herbs. Although Su Jin is a bit flashy, he looks normal. But these 3 disciples, why are they all? She shook her head and gently closed the door. At this time, Su Jin was in the inner courts director's office, and Hong Fa was with him. He casually leaned on the sofa in the office, and Hong Fa glared at him angrily. The office manager was a man with a mustache. Seeing the 2 of them like this, he rubbed his eyebrows. Su Jin, you connived at your student committing murder in the maze forest, and you actually still have such an indifferent appearance. Aren't you too condescending? Hong Fa shouted. It's okay for me to be arrogant, but it's wrong for your student to be arrogant. What the cause and effect of the matter has already been clarified. Your student was so vulgar to my student. What's wrong with my student teaching him a lesson? Su Jin flicked his fingernails and didn't put Hong Fa's anger in his eyes. Besides, didn't I fail to kill you? I'm still keeping him alive. Hong Fa only said one sentence, but he was choked by so many words. His expression became even uglier. Su Jin, your student did such a cruel thing, and you can still say it so casually. Wrong, I'm not calm, I'm very angry. Su Jin said seriously. Hong Fa coldly snorted. He thought that Su Jin was angering Sima Yue, but he almost vomited blood when he heard Su Jin's words. Speaking of which, that student of mine is really soft-hearted. If a man dares to say that to me, I definitely won't cut off the bottom but the neck. Who do you think you are? How dare you have such thoughts about me? I'll have to teach her to be more ruthless when it comes to such things. It's too shameful for us men. Su Jin scolded seriously. Su Jin, Hong Fa angrily roared. I'm not as old as you. My ears are still working. There's no need to shout so loudly. Su Jin picked his ears. Today's matter was originally your student's fault. He was crippled because his skills weren't as good as others. If I were you, I wouldn't be shouting here right now. I'd go back and guard your precious disciple, and see if I can reattach his thing. If it's treated early, maybe it can be reattached. As for whether it can still be used after it's reattached, it'll depend on your skills. Alright, if there's nothing else, I'm going back to sleep. Good night to the two of you. With that, he got up and walked outside, ignoring the two people inside. As long as the school didn't punish him, he didn't need to care about other things. Hong Fa saw that he really left, and turned to look at the director. Director, you have to make a decision for my student. That Sima Yue just came in, and something like this happened. In the future. The director raised his hand to interrupt him and helplessly said, Teacher Hong, today's matter has been investigated clearly. It was indeed your student who was in the wrong first. The inner court doesn't have any rules that forbid students from fighting. According to the school's rules, as long as no one dies, or their cultivation isn't crippled, they don't care. Your student didn't die or cripple her cultivation, so the school has no reason to punish her. Just like what Teacher Su said, there's no point in wasting time here. You might as well go back and watch your student. Hearing the director say this, Hong Fa knew that he couldn't get justice from the school, so he angrily left. This little thing is really something. He hasn't even entered the inner court and already caused such a thing. It seems like he's also a troublesome person. In the future, Su Jin will be busy. Master, you're rejoicing in other people's misfortune. A bird on the windowsill said. This Su Jin is too carefree. Don't you think it's a very happy thing that someone can take care of him? The director thought of Su Jin's future life, and smiled while shaking his mustache. Su Jin returned to his courtyard, and saw that the light in Sima Yue's room had been turned off. Although he wanted to rush in and scold her for doing a good job, he gave up after thinking about his beauty sleep. It was time to go to sleep. Although Sima Yue was lying in bed, she was awake. She knew when Su Jin came in, and felt that he stopped in the courtyard for a while. She thought that he was going to look for her, but he went back directly. The next morning, Su Xiaoxiao knocked on her door. Little junior brother, someone is looking for you. Su Xiaoxiao said outside. Sima Yue opened the door, and saw Su Xiaoxiao's fierce appearance. After one night, she miraculously accepted the contrast between his name and appearance. Who is looking for me? She had just entered the inner court. Why was someone looking for her? They said it's your brother and friend. Su Xiaoxiao said. Sima Yue knew who it was as soon as she heard it. Thank you, Senior Su, for telling me. She came out and closed the door saying, Can I bring them in? Su Xiaoxiao hesitated and said, You have to ask the master. The three of us don't have many friends, so no one has come to look for us. We have never encountered such a thing before. I don't know if I can let them in. Then I'll ask the master. Sima Yue walked 2 steps and stopped. She turned back and asked, Which room does the master live in? Chapter 634. Junior brother, it's best that you don't disturb master. He has a bad temper when he wakes up. Su Xiao reminded her kindly. He has a bad temper when he wakes up? Sima Yue was speechless. Were they really spirit masters? Master said that it's the worst thing in the world to be woken up when you're having a good beauty sleep in the morning. That's why we don't wake him up in the morning. Su Xiao said seriously. Sima Yue's face darkened. This guy even knew about such advanced terms like beauty sleep? All right then. I'll go and see my brothers first. I'll bring you out. Su Xiao knew that Sima Yue still didn't know the array outside, so he brought her out. I'll tell you the rules of the array first, in case you don't know how to get in. Thank you, Senior Su. Sima Yue said gratefully. Actually, she already knew how to get out of the array, after following Han Miaoshuang once. But seeing how enthusiastic Su Xiao was, she felt that she shouldn't discourage him. So when Su Xiao told her the method, she responded enthusiastically. Although she tried her best to make it look like she didn't know how to get out of the array so quickly. She even asked 2 questions on purpose. But when she went out and said that she already knew how to get out, Su Xiao was surprised. Fifth bro. Yu. Sima Yu Qi, Sima Yu Ming, Wei Ziqi and Bei Gong Tang were outside the house. When they saw Sima Yue come out, they shouted at her. Eldest brother, second brother, why are you here? Sima Yue walked towards them and turned back to Su Xiao. Senior Su, you can go back first. Su Xiao glanced at Wei Ziqi and the others and said, come back after a chat. Master will definitely look for you when he wakes up. I got it. Thank you, Senior Su. Sima Yue nodded in reply, then turned around and walked towards Sima Yu Ming and the others. Yue, are you okay? Bei Gong Tang pulled Sima Yue and asked. Very good. What's wrong? How did you know we were here so quickly? After confirming that she was really fine, the 4 of them breathed a sigh of relief and said, we heard about what happened between you and Ma Bojian last night. We also heard that you sent Teacher Hong's disciple flying. We were worried that something might have happened to you. This morning, when he heard that they had returned, he ran over to ask them about the details. They said you were here, so we came over. Fifth brother, what's going on? How could you cripple that brat? I heard that Teacher Hong made a big fuss yesterday, saying that he wanted the sect to expel you. It was only after Teacher Su stepped in that the matter was suppressed. Sima Yu Ming asked. Sima Yue shrugged. That guy wants me to serve them. He wants me to follow them. If I serve them well, I can do whatever I want in the Thunderbolt Society. That son of a bitch, I'm going to kill him. Sima Yu Ming turned around to look for that person for revenge, but he was grabbed by Wei Ziqi. Don't be angry. I'm not the one who will suffer in the end. Sima Yue said with a smile. It's no wonder that the Thunderbolt Society has spread the word that they are irreconcilable with you. If any society dares to take you in, they will become enemies with them. Hong Fa's students are also clamoring to teach you a lesson. Bei Gong Tang said worriedly. What's there to be afraid of? Whoever dares to provoke me, I'll kill them one by one. If a pair comes, I'll kill a pair. If a dozen comes, I'll kill a dozen. Sima Yue wasn't worried at all. In any case, she had so many old monsters by her side. Any one of them would be able to kill them all. It's good that you know what you're doing. Wei Ziqi said. The sect has its own rules. They won't dare to do it openly, but they're afraid that they'll do something to you. I'll take note. Sima Yue said, but she didn't take it to heart. Why are you the only ones here today? Where are the others? They've all gone into closed-door cultivation. Sima Yuqi said. We only came out yesterday. Fatty has caught the eye of his teacher and was taken to one side. He probably hasn't gotten the news yet. Ouyang has been in closed-door cultivation these 2 days to refine pills. Bei Gong Tang said. Where did Fatty go? His teacher has a weird temper as well. He's the #1 armament teacher. He took a liking to him and insisted on taking him in as a disciple. You know, the treatment of a teacher's disciple is different from that of a student. He was forced to move to his master's courtyard. Wei Ziqi explained. That's not bad. This kid has finally met a talent scout. Sima Yue said happily. Fatty Chu's talent wasn't bad. He was very good at armament, but he had never received any formal guidance. Sima Yue initially wanted to help him find a teacher after they entered the Divine Devil Valley. She didn't expect that he would meet one himself. That kid was unwilling at first. He said that following a female master was useless. In the end, he was caught to watch her refine armaments. He eagerly went over. Wei Ziqi couldn't help but laugh when he thought of Fatty Chu's reaction. What about Little Two? Which teacher is he under now? Sima Yue asked. Little Two was different from them. He was sent to the inner sect in less than a year after entering the sect. She didn't know how he was doing now. Thinking about it, she hadn't seen him for more than 2 years. Wei Ziqi and the others shook their heads. This made her heart tighten. Did something happen to him? No, it's just that we have no news of him. Sima Yue said. No news of him? Didn't he come to the inner sect? He did come to the inner sect, but we asked many people. They don't know Little Tuesday. Only a lunatic said that he met Little Two, but there was no news of him. Sima Yue said. Furthermore, it was when he just entered the inner sect. Then how do you know that nothing happened to him? If nothing happened, why is there no news at all? Sima Yue didn't believe that lunatic. Yue, don't worry. Wei Ziqi comforted. The lunatic said that he met him in the principal's office. There was no news of him after that. He guessed that the sect sent him to a secret place to cultivate. You know that Little Two is different from us, so this possibility is high. Who is the lunatic? A guy in the top 20 of the billboard. Because he likes to find people to fight. And once he fights, he's like a lunatic. That's why everyone calls him lunatic. How do you know this kind of person? There was once when he fought with someone and was seriously injured. He happened to be here to buy some pills, so we asked him. Who would have thought that he would actually know? Bei Gong Tang said. Someone in the top 10 of the billboard was seriously injured by someone. TSK. I'm really curious who beat him up. Sima Yue said while rubbing her chin. To be able to injure him so badly, it must be someone in the top 10. And those who are willing to fight with him are probably those ranked 6th to 10th. Why are you interested in him? Wei Ziqi asked with raised eyebrows. Chapter 635. I have no interest in this kind of battle maniac. Sima Yue waved her hand. It was unlucky to be entangled with this kind of battle maniac. He would ask you to fight for no reason. Being with this kind of person was simply asking for a beating. She looked towards the courtyard and said, Let's go before teacher wakes up. We'll go to your place to take a look and familiarize ourselves with the roads. In case I can't find you in the future. All right. The place that Wei Ziqi and the others were staying in was one of those large dormitories, with over 10 people sharing a courtyard. Although each person had their own room, it was still far from Sima Yue's. Sima Yue saw 2 familiar faces when she walked in. Yin Wu Hen, you guys live here too? Sima Yue asked in surprise. Tuoba Yin had just returned from her closed-door cultivation in the cultivation pagoda. When she heard Sima Yue's voice, she turned around in astonishment. Yue, when did you come to the academy? Tuoba Yin was very happy to see Sima Yue and walked over. I arrived last night. Sima Yue said. I didn't expect you to be in the same courtyard as them. I thought you would be living with Han and the others. Us freshmen basically stay in these few courtyards. Since they are your brothers and friends, we can stay together. Tuoba Yin said. Yue, why are you? Feng Wuhan walked over and looked around. I'm here to see where my brother and the others are staying, so that I can find the way. Sima Yue said. The Thunderbolt Society is looking for you. Why did you come out? Feng Wuhan said. You knew about it too? This is such a big matter. It won't take a day for it to spread throughout the entire academy. Moreover, the Thunderbolt Society has spread the word everywhere. Now, everyone wants to see what it's like when you go up against them. Feng Wuhan said. Pfft. Sima Yue burst into laughter. The leader of the Thunderbolt Society is either a fool, or he has a grudge against someone. Huh. Everyone was puzzled. Otherwise, why would they make the news of him being crippled known to everyone? Sima Yue said. It's embarrassing for any man to lose that thing, isn't it? But now everyone knows. If that regiment commander doesn't have any enmity with him, then he must be stupid. Poochie. With her explanation, everyone came to their senses and realized that it was indeed the case. Cough cough. Don't bother about whether they are stupid or not. There are many people in the Thunderbolt Society. If you go up against them, it won't be good for you. Feng Wuhan said. I'll be careful, Sima Yue replied. What are you guys talking about? Tuoba Yin Er was confused. She saw that everyone seemed to have understood, but it seemed that she was the only one who did not know. Hence, Feng Wuhan told her about how Sima Yue had crippled him. After hearing that, Tuoba Yin Er looked at Sima Yue with a strange expression. Then, she couldn't help but laugh out loud. She even laughed until tears came out of her eyes. Yue, you're a man. Didn't you think of yourself when you did it? No. Sima Yue replied honestly. Because she wasn't a man. Alright Yue, let's send you back. You're in the limelight now. It won't be good if the Thunderbolt Society sees you. Sima Yuming said. That's good too. Teacher should be up already. Sima Yue said. Yin Er Wu Hen, I'll come and chat with you guys when I'm free. Okay. Tuoba Yin Er and the others naturally knew where Su Jin's house was, so they didn't follow her. Bei Gong Tang and the others followed her back. The journey wasn't far, and they were already very low-key. However, they were still discovered by the Thunderbolt Society. Brother Xian, that's her. She's Sima Yue. A man with a scar on his face walked over with a group of people. He pointed at Sima Yue and said hatefully. Then a group of people quickly rushed over and surrounded them. When the passers-by saw the situation, they all stepped aside to watch the commotion. That's Sima Yue? She looks so young. Is it really her? Then who is she? Sima Yue. Who's Sima Yue? You don't even know Sima Yue. Why would I know? You don't know what happened yesterday. Yesterday? I was in seclusion yesterday. I just came out this morning. Did something happen yesterday? Yesterday something big or small happened. Alright, don't keep me in suspense. Tell me quickly. Actually, it's nothing much. It's just that this Sima Yue crippled one of Hong Fa's students. What? She's too daring. Not only that, she beat up more than 10 people by herself. Really? That person obviously didn't believe it. How could one person beat up more than 10 people? Hey, you don't believe it. The Thunderbolt team has already spread the word that they're going to teach her a lesson. Just watch, there's going to be a good show today. Sima Yuming and the others didn't react to the commotion around them. They stood in front of Sima Yue, blocking the Thunderbolt team members. Leader Xiao, what are you trying to do? Sima Yuming asked coldly. Oh, you recognize me? Xiao Qi looked at Sima Yuming. It'll be easy if you recognize me. Hand over the person behind you, and I'll let you watch the commotion from the side for now. My younger brother has just entered the inner sect, and is not familiar with it. If he has done anything wrong, please forgive him, Leader Xiao. Sima Yuming stood where he was, refusing to budge. He's your younger brother? Xiao Qi pointed at Sima Yuming. Since he's your brother, then we'll tie him up and bring him back to the team. We'll bring the other 3 back as well. The ones with him are probably in the same group. After Xiao Qi spoke, the people beside him pounced on them. Before they even touched them, a shadow flashed by and they were all kicked. Sima Yue landed beside Sima Yuming and clapped her hands, saying, Can we hit people here? You can as long as you don't kill them, Wei Ziqi said. Okay. Sima Yue nodded seriously. If they didn't kill them, it would be easy to settle things with a bottom line. You've got guts. You actually dare to hit my Thunderbolt team members. Xiao Qi was so scared by Sima Yue that he subconsciously took a step back, mustering his courage to berate her. Sima Yue stepped on the back of a person who was lying on the ground. She looked at Xiao Qi saying, Leader Xiao, right? Are you blind? Or are you trying to bully everyone else? You were the one who brought people here to beat me up. Why is it that I'm the one with guts now? Don't tell me that if you're about to be beaten up, you'll stick your face over and ask for a few more punches? I'm not that stupid. Leader Xiao, do you want to have a taste of my fists? You. Xiao Qi saw Sima Yue's cold gaze, and the people who were wailing on the ground. He was already terrified. However, when he saw so many people watching the commotion, he couldn't bring himself to do it. Chapter 636. Captain Xiao, please go back and tell your superiors that I'm here to study, not to fight with you. If you don't disturb my studies, we'll be fine. If you insist on going against me, then I'll be happy to accompany you to the end. After Sima Yu finished speaking, she took Sima Yu Ming and the others and left. When the onlookers saw them walking over, they subconsciously made way for them. Sima Yu, why do I feel like this name is a little familiar? Is the new student who applied for a year's leave before coming to school called Sima Yu? Yes, it seems to be her. She's actually a freshman? Heavens, how is this combat strength of a freshman? Not only is she a freshman, she's also an alchemist. How can an alchemist have such a strong combat strength? This person is too scary. It's better not to go against him in the future. Since she said so, the Thunderbolt Society will definitely find trouble with her. But she was also a tough nut to crack. Hee. I'm looking forward to what happens next. Although Xiaoqi wasn't beaten up, his expression was still very ugly. He was actually scared silly in front of so many people. How was he going to show his face in the academy in the future? Go. A bunch of useless things. He scolded the people on the ground and left angrily. Both sides had left, and those who had come to watch the show also dispersed. Not far away, two men, one in black and one in blue, were looking at the crooked backs of the Thunderbolt Society. The excitement on their faces had yet to subside. Mo Bin, did you see that? That guy's fighting strength is really strong. The blue-clothed man, Tang Yen, excitedly grabbed the black-clothed man's arm. Mo Bin pulled his hand out and said faintly, I saw him. He's a new student with decent power. Right. Tang Yen didn't mind being disdained, and said with a grin, I really didn't expect to see such a cute freshman after coming out of seclusion this time. You're not even afraid of the Thunderbolt Society. TSK. I wonder if I should say that the younger generation will surpass us in time. It has nothing to do with you. Let's go. Mo Bin turned and left. Tang Yen hurriedly chased after him. Do you think she will attend the next 3 meetings? Didn't you hear that he's an alchemist? If you want to participate, you should be participating in the alchemist competition. It'll be great if she participates in the Spirit Master competition. I really want to see how far she can go. Tang Yen said. Say, if she participates in the Spirit Master competition, how far can she go? Top 200. Mo Bin thought of her clean and nimble movements, and the strength of her body. He changed his words and said, maybe you can enter the top 150. It's already amazing for a freshman to enter the top 150. Tang Yen also felt that Sima Yu's ability could reach that level. I wonder if Madman will come and fight her if he knows how strong she is. It's possible. However, it might suppress his strength. Mo Bin felt that this was very likely. That Madman would want to fight anyone who was stronger than him. He would suppress those who were weaker than him to the same level. The last time he looked for you, who won? How could he possibly win against me? I gave him a good beating, so that he wouldn't come looking for trouble with me every time. Tang Yen said with a headache. I'm wondering why he doesn't look for you guys. He's always harassing us. How do you know he didn't look for us? Mo Bin asked back. He looked for you guys. Tang Yan's eyes widened. Why didn't we hear anything about it? A long time ago, Mo Bin said. We agreed before the battle that the loser is not allowed to look for me for 100 years. The result was self-evident. Tang Yen looked at Mo Bin's eyes that said, You're stupid, and felt that he was stupid. Why didn't they agree beforehand? If Madman comes again, they must agree before fighting. The two of them walked through the campus, and attracted a lot of attention. Isn't that the 5th and 10th ranked Mo Bin and Tang Yen? They actually came out. Heavens, it's really them. They're so handsome. Don't be love-struck. Don't provoke the top 20 people on the billboard. They're already far away. Let's go too. Sima Yue and Bei Gong Tang had just walked to the entrance of Su Jin's courtyard when a red figure rushed out. Little junior brother, where did you run off to? I've been looking for you for a long time. Han Miaoshuang grabbed Sima Yue's hand and dragged her into the courtyard. Sima Yue only had time to wave at Bei Gong Tang and the others. Senior sister Han, why are you in such a hurry? What's the matter? They came to the courtyard, and Han Miaoshuang finally let go of her. She rubbed her wrist. It was already red from her grabbing. I came back to look for you in the morning, but you weren't there. Han Miaoshuang said. Why are you looking for me? Sima Yue asked again. Second senior sister, I just cleaned the courtyard. Su Xiaoxiao's roar came from behind. Xiao Xiao, if you shout again, I'll throw you out. Su Jin's soft voice came from upstairs. Kong Junchul was even more direct. An unknown flying object flew out of his window and directly hit Su Xiaoxiao, who was in the courtyard. Su Xiaoxiao subconsciously dodged to the side. Sima Yue looked and saw a pillow lying alone on the ground. Sima Yue looked at the courtyard that was in an uproar and felt as if a crow flew past her head. She walked over and picked up the pillow. Holding it in her hand, she looked at the angry Su Xiaoxiao and asked, Senior Su, what happened? Su Xiaoxiao glared at Han Miaoshuang. His eyes looked as if he wanted to eat her up. Thinking of the two sleeping upstairs, he lowered his voice and complained. I don't know where she went to hunt a spirit beast and threw it on the ground. The ground is covered in blood. Xiao Xiao, I couldn't find a place to put it. Han Miaoshuang saw that Su Xiaoxiao was angry and pursed her lips as she explained. I think you found a place to throw it, and then ran to look for junior brother. Su Xiaoxiao didn't believe her and directly exposed her. Isn't it just a little blood on the ground? Why are you so angry? Han Miaoshuang was also angry. She put her hands on her hips and glared at Su Xiaoxiao. I told you before, you're not allowed to put those half-dead things in the courtyard. Su Xiaoxiao didn't show any weakness. The two of them were about to quarrel. Sima Yue finally understood. Su Xiaoxiao rushed out last night to hunt a spirit beast. When he came back, he threw the spirit beast on the ground to look for her. In the end, the blood stained Su Xiaoxiao's floor. Cough cough, do you want me to barbecue meat for you? She saw that the two of them were getting angrier and angrier. Yes, yes. Han Miaoshuang glared at Su Xiaoxiao again and turned to look at Sima Yue with a smile. Senior Su, go and give this to Senior Jiang. We'll clean up the backyard. She handed the pillow to Su Xiaoxiao. Chapter 637. Although Su Xiaoxiao was very unhappy, she still took the pillow and put it into the space ring. Let's go. I'll go with you. After saying that, he turned and walked towards the backyard. Sima Yue looked at Han Miaoshuang's smirk and knew that she was deliberately quarreling with Su Xiaoxiao. She was sure that although Su Xiaoxiao was angry, she wouldn't really be angry with her. Senior sister, let's go over as well. Hee, let's go. Sima Yue could not help but shake her head. They came to the open space in the backyard and knew why Su Xiaoxiao was angry. A one-story tall horned cow was thrown on the ground. Blood flowed out from its body, and not only dyed the ground red, the blood also flowed into the medicinal field next to it. Little junior brother, what do you think of this horned cow? I specially chose one that wasn't very old, thinking that the meat would be more tender. Han Miaoshuang looked at the fork-horned cow with satisfaction, purposely ignoring Su Xiaoxiao's ashen face. The corner of Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Senior, you're not asking me to roast this for you, are you? I want to, but if I really let you roast it, I won't be able to finish it. Han Miaoshuang said. Which part do you want to roast? Actually, this roasted beef isn't that delicious. Why don't we boil it? Sima Yue said casually. Looking at Han Miaoshuang's sparkling eyes, she regretted it so much that she wanted to bite off her own tongue. He clearly knew that she liked to eat, so why did he have to be so nosy? Wasn't that just asking for trouble? As expected. Little junior brother, you know how to play with spirit beasts? How do we eat this? Han Miaoshuang came over and almost hugged her and bit her. Yue wailed in her heart, but she still smiled and said, It's just a pot of soup. Take the beef and boil it a few times before eating it. Is that tasty? Yue really wanted to say that it wasn't delicious, but seeing how excited Han Miaoshuang was, she nodded and said, If the soup pot is cooked well, it will be delicious. If the soup isn't cooked properly, it won't taste good. Then make me a soup pot. Let's boil the beef. Xiao Xiao, don't clean up. Eat with us later. Han Miaoshuang waved at Su Xiaoxiao. Su Xiaoxiao was very angry, so she decided to ignore her today. Therefore, she ignored her when she called her. Han Miaoshuang saw that Su Xiaoxiao was really angry and ran over to coax him. Sima Yue did as she said. Seeing that the courtyard was spacious and there was no kitchen in the entire courtyard, she took out pots, bowls, ladles and basins and planned to cook here. Sima Yoyua's professional kitchen utensils made Han Miaoshuang even more excited. Looking at Sima, Yue was like looking at a treasure. Little junior brother, you're good at cooking, aren't you? Haha, one look at these things, and I can tell that you cook often. Han Miaoshuang said confidently. I've been cooking less recently. Sima Yue did not answer her question directly. She hadn't done it that many times in the past 2 years. It seemed that she could count them on one hand. That's what you used to do, Han Miaoshuang said. Seeing her take out all kinds of seasonings and side dishes, she asked, what are these for? To make a soup pot. Sima Yue quickly prepared those ingredients, and then fried them in the pot. After the fragrance burst out, she put the mushrooms in to cook. While cooking the soup, she came to the fork-horned cow and cut off a piece of meat. She washed it with water, and then cut it into thin slices, and put it on a plate. Han Miaoshuang took a piece, and looked at the almost transparent meat. She was so surprised that she couldn't speak. When Su Xiaoxiao started cooking from Sima Yue, his attention was attracted by her skillful movements, and he unconsciously stopped what he was doing. It smells so good. The fragrance of the soup pot floated out, and attracted Han Miaoshuang's attention. She threw the meat slices in her hand, and ran to the big pot. She opened the lid, and an even stronger fragrance spread out. The entire courtyard was filled with that fragrance. Next to the small courtyard was the building where Su Jin and the others lived. The two of them who were sleeping upstairs were awakened by the fragrance. They tossed and turned on the bed for a while. In the end, their appetite was aroused by the fragrance. They both got up from the bed and opened the window to look downstairs. At this moment, the three of them in the courtyard were eating happily in front of a small pot. Even Xiao Xiao put down his broom. This was something that had never been seen before. Sima Yue looked at the two of them eating happily and sighed in her heart. It was her first day in the academy. She didn't even see the teacher before she got into a fight with someone. Then she was caught to be a chef. Xiao Xiao, are you done sweeping the courtyard? Su Jin leaned on his window and looked at the three of them with a long face. Master, I'll clean the courtyard later. I'll eat the dishes that junior brother made first. Su Xiaoxiao picked up a piece of beef and dipped it into the boiling pot a few times. He dipped it in Sima Yu's dipping sauce and ate it when it was still piping hot. He placed it in his mouth and blew twice. Han Miaoshuang didn't even raise her head. Her eyes and hands were wandering around. Su Jin looked at his two disciples. Before he could decide if he should go down and join them, Kong Junchul had already dragged his half-awake body down. Give me a portion too. Kong Junchul lifted Su Xiaoxiao up and sat down. Su Xiaoxiao wasn't angry. He took out a chair and placed it at the side. He continued to fight with the food. Sima Yue took out a set of chopsticks and handed it to Kong Junchul. That guy looked at Su Xiaoxiao and the others' movements and knew how to eat. Junior brother, after eating what you made, I know how bad the food I ate before was. Why didn't you come earlier? Han Miaoshuang sighed. Delicious. Delicious. Su Xiaoxiao agreed. It's really good. Kong Junchul's eyes finally opened completely. He didn't look as sleepy as before. You guys, why didn't you call me when you were eating? Su Jin didn't pretend to be pretentious and ran down. Teacher Su. Sima Yue stood up and gave her seat to him. The four of them were just right to sit at the same table. Junior brother, cut another portion of beef for me. Han Miaoshuang shouted at Sima Yue. Sima Yue helplessly went to the side and cut another 2 portions of beef. Then she thought about it and took out some poultry and spirit beasts. She cut them into pieces and served them. Then she took out some vegetables from the spirit pagoda and cut them into pieces. Those guys finished 1 portion and then another. They originally wanted to make a simple soup pot to deal with Han Miaoshuang. In the end, it became a big meal for the 4 of them. The 4 of them ate from morning to afternoon. They stopped when they couldn't eat anymore. Xiao Xiao, go and pack up. Yue, come here. Su Jin saw Sima Yue packing up and waved his hand. Sima Yue was happy that someone was packing up. She put down her things and walked over. Su Jin held a toothpick in his mouth and said, Did you cause trouble when you went out today? Chapter 638. Sima Yue blinked. Wasn't this guy sleeping? How did he know that something had happened to him when he went out today? There's a group of students outside right now. This has never happened before. If they're not looking for you, then who are they looking for? Sujin said. Sima Yue closed her eyes and sensed her surroundings. Indeed, there were many students gathered outside. Didn't you say that you've already settled the matter? Why are there still so many things? She had some doubts about Sujin's efficiency. Of course, I'm dealing with the teachers in the school for you. Otherwise, would you still be sitting here? That brat Hong Fa had already gotten rid of him. Sujin snorted. As for the students, of course you have to deal with them yourself. If I have to deal with everything, how will you grow? Go take care of those guys for me. If they want to defend, then so be it. Sima Yue refused to leave. She pulled out a chair and sat down beside him. Teacher, shouldn't you tell me how you plan to teach me as a teacher? The alchemy room is over there. If there's anything you don't understand, just ask me. Sujin pointed to a row of small rooms in the courtyard. No classes? There are no fixed classes in the inner courtyard. Everyone has their own classes, especially those spirit masters. Other than their dormitories, they have the cultivation pagoda. Us alchemists are more or less the same, but we have an additional pill room. If you want to go to the alchemy room to refine pills, that's fine too. Sujin had a do-as-you-please expression. Where is the elixir room? Sima Yue asked. People like you can refine pills in my small pill refining room. But if you don't have a teacher to guide you, you'll be accepted as a disciple. You can only go to the pill refining room to get in touch. However, when those alchemists have nothing to do, they will go to the pill room and answer questions for the students. Sujin said. Will you go? Of course I don't want to go. Sujin looked rather helpless. But that old guy wants me to go at least twice a week. Principal Yuan. That's him. Sujin sighed. Those people are really stupid. They're not like Xiao Xiao and the others, who can understand with just a little bit. Those students often have to explain things clearly to them. Every time, it wastes my time. But you still tell them in detail every time. Han Miao Shuang said as she nibbled on a spirit fruit. If I don't teach them well, that old guy wants me to be the dean. I don't want it. Sujin proudly said. Although I go there every week, it's still better than being the department head. Many alchemists with masters also practice in the alchemy room and discuss alchemy with other alchemists. Xiao Xiao said as she packed up. Sima Yue did not expect the inner yard to be so open. She thought that she would be locked in the classroom every day. Little junior brother, when are you going to make other food for us? How about we eat barbecued meat tonight? Han Miaoshuang came over and smiled flatteringly. It's already past noon, Sima Yue said. Also, I've said that I didn't become teacher's disciple. I'm not your junior brother. You can just call me Yue. She did not acknowledge Sujin as her master, so she was not their junior brother. Although she had Feng Zhixing and Old Man Devil as her masters, they were not in the same field, so it didn't matter. But Sujin was also an alchemist. Without Old Man Devil's permission, she could not acknowledge anyone else as her master. This was a form of respect for Old Man Devil. Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miaoshuang turned to look at Sujin. Sujin took out a sound stone and threw it to Sima Yue. Sima Yue picked it up doubtfully and inserted spirit energy into it. Good disciple. I know that you definitely won't acknowledge Sujin as your master. This guy still doesn't believe it. Old Man Devil's voice came from the sound stone. I'm very happy to have such a good disciple like you. But I'm always outside and haven't taught you much. Once alchemy breaks through the 6th grade and enters the 7th grade, it will be very difficult in the future. It's good to have someone by your side to teach you. And although this guy is a little worse than me in the past, he's still considered pretty good among the alchemists. So you should acknowledge him as your second master. Remember that he's your second master. Aya, you stop right there. Old Man Devil shouted from behind, and then there was no more sound. After Sima Yue finished listening to the recording, she got up and knelt down in front of Sujin. Disciple greets second master. Get up. Sujin was very dissatisfied with the way she addressed him as second master. But he had no choice. Old Man Devil had already taken the position of great master many years ago. Hehe, I told you. You'll definitely be our little junior brother. Su Xiaoxiao smiled honestly. Sima Yue got up. Second master. Why do you have master's message? I met him when I went out a while ago. Su Jin said. When? Where? How did you meet him? Sima Yue asked anxiously. Divine Devil Valley hadn't heard any news of Old Man Devil for a long time. How did Su Jin meet him? Inner region Hong residence. Su Jin didn't hide it. Master, I'll leave for a while. Sima Yue said and ran out. Kong Junchul was dozing off on the chair. When he saw Sima Yue running out in a hurry, his eyelids lifted slightly. Who's his master? I didn't expect him to have a master. How's his alchemy skills? Not worse than you guys. Su Jin said bluntly. Kong Junchul raised his eyebrows and opened his eyes completely. Those who were familiar with him knew what he was interested in. Master, are you kidding? Little junior brother is still so young. Han Miaoshuang didn't believe that Sima Yoyue's alchemy skills could be compared to theirs. I think he's very willing to discuss alchemy with you guys. Su Jin said. Little junior brother is only 20 or 30 years old. His alchemy skills are already on par with us? Su Xiaoxiao was so surprised that his hands stopped moving. Your talents used to be special. But after meeting him, you have no choice but to accept it. Su Jin said. If that's the case, we have to discuss it properly with little junior brother. Kong Junchul's eyelids were about to close again. How's your practice of the diverse refinement method? Su Jin asked. 8 types of normal herbs. 4 types of troublesome herbs. Kong Junchul replied. 6 types of normal herbs. 3 types of troublesome herbs. Han Miaoshuang said. Su Xiaoxiao touched the back of his head. I have the least. 6 types of normal herbs. Only 2 types of troublesome herbs. Then what's your shortest time to refine the green lotus pill? Su Jin asked again. 5 hours. Su Xiaoxiao was the first to answer. I'm about the same. Han Miaoshuang said. 4.5 hours. Kong Junchul said. Has he refined this pill before? Su Jin rolled his eyes at his 3 disciples and said. The 3 of you are either eating or sleeping. If not, you're cleaning in the courtyard. Don't you care about what's going on outside? The intersex assessment this time is to refine a green lotus pill. Master, don't keep us in suspense. Tell us quickly. What kind of results did little junior brother achieve? Han Miaoshuang urged. Chapter 639. She was late. When she arrived at the exam hall, there were only 3.5 hours left. Su Jin said. How is that possible? Han Miaoshuang cried out. Refining the green lotus pill in 3.5 hours? Master, are you sure you didn't get the time wrong? Am I such a carefree person? Su Jin glared at her and continued. She was able to refine the green lotus pill in such a short time because of her various refining methods. The most I've seen of her was that she threw in 10 types of medicinal herbs at once. 10 types. Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiaoxiao gasped. Kong Junchul's eyes lit up. Eldest senior brother can only refine 8 types of medicinal herbs at the same time. But she can actually refine 10. Could it be that her alchemy grade is higher than eldest senior brother's? Su Xiaoxiao exclaimed. That's not necessarily true. Su Jin said. There's no direct relationship between the various refining methods and grades. Junja has been practicing for so many years. His age is just a fraction of his. But even if I can't compare, I don't think I'm too far off. Look at you guys. Instead of practicing properly, you're either eating or sleeping all day long. Now you've been surpassed by others. I've decided. Han Miaoshuang stood up from the chair and startled Sima Yue, who had just walked into the courtyard. Senior sister, what have you decided? Sima Yue walked over and asked. I've decided. I want to see you refine pills. Han Miaoshuang placed her hands on her waist and said. Ah. Sima Yue looked at the others. Why did they look at her differently after she went out for a while? Han Miaoshuang walked over and hooked her arm around her neck, asking. Little junior brother, tell me honestly, what grade of pill are you refining now? Rank 7. What's wrong? Sima Yue looked at Han Miaoshuang in confusion. How old are you? Su Xiaoxiao asked. I'll be 30 soon. She rubbed her nose. 30 years old. On Earth, she would be considered an old leftover woman. But here, in the thousands of years of life, she was just like a baby. Han Miaoshuang was so frustrated that she couldn't speak. She patted Sima Yu's shoulder and said, "When I was 30 years old, I just became a 5th-grade alchemist. At that time, I thought I was very powerful. But now it seems that I was too arrogant. Fortunately, you are my junior brother. Otherwise, I would want to slap you to death. Aya, I can't be reckless anymore. I have to practice properly. I'm really jealous of you." Senior sister. Sima Yue was speechless. Where was the jealousy in this guy's eyes? I've decided. Han Miaoshuang let go of Sima Yue and said, "I'm not eating tonight. I'm going to refine pills." After saying that, she really left and walked towards the alchemy room. "I'm going too." Kong Junchul felt threatened for the first time. In Han Miaoshuang's words, fortunately, he was his junior brother. Otherwise, he might really want to slap her to death. "Master, the courtyard is ready. I'm going to refine pills too." After Su Xiaoxiao finished packing, he bowed to Su Jin and left. Sima Yue saw that the courtyard was suddenly empty. She didn't expect that her appearance would stimulate them to refine pills. She looked at Su Jin. He must have told them about her. That's why they were like this. "You informed Divine Devil Valley?" Su Jin automatically blocked her suspicious gaze. Senior uncle has been worried about Master's whereabouts. But he couldn't contact him. Why did Master go to the inner regions? Something happened, he went to settle it. Su Jin obviously didn't want to say more about this. "Oh, if there's nothing else, I'll go back to my room," Sima Yue said. "How can there be nothing?" Su Jin stood up from the chair, stretched his waist and said, "Let's go. I'll take you to see the director. You took such a long leave and only came back now. Naturally, you have to see him. I'll take you to walk around the academy while I'm at it." Sima Yue followed Su Jin out. Those people outside didn't dare to go forward when they saw her. This Su Jin was the most difficult and special teacher in the inner sect. He and Hong Fa were known as the two freaks of the inner sect. No one should provoke them. Sima Yue looked at those people and sighed in her heart. Then she swaggered away. Su Jin took her directly to the director's office. When the director saw her, his eyes flashed. Then he smiled and threw a box to Su Jin. Su Jin took it and passed it to her. She opened the lid and saw a thin book inside. There was also a token and a rare spirit stone. The spirit stone is your cultivation resource, and the token is your identity. As for that book, you should study it properly when you go back, the director said. Sima Yue took out the book and flipped to the title page. When she saw the words on it, her mouth couldn't help but twitch. Intersect rules. This, everyone has a copy? She waved the book in her hand and asked. No, only a few students have it, the director said. At the same time, he added a sentence in his heart. Only those students who like to cause trouble have it. And Sima Yue had already been placed in the group of students who liked to cause trouble. Sima Yue also guessed it, and rolled her eyes in her heart. He was clearly innocent. The matter was instigated by the Thunderbolt Club. Although that person was crippled, he asked for it. How did he become a problematic student? Old Mao, you just gave Yue a spirit stone and sent her away? What about those things? Su Jin directly stretched out his hand towards Mao Sanquan. Nothing. Mao Sanquan waved his hand at Su Jin. You know that those things can only be used when a new student enters. She missed the opportunity, and those things have already been sealed. Even if it's sealed, it can still be opened. Su Jin didn't agree. But that blood pool is useless to her. Why do you have to violate the school rules? Mao Sanquan said. As for the spirit pagoda, you know that it has already been used up by the new students. Su Jin looked at Sima Yue. He could also see that Sima Yue's body was stronger than the average person. He guessed that the blood pool really was useless to her. As the most outstanding student in the school, shouldn't the school show some appreciation when she enters the school? Those people soaked in the blood pool and went into seclusion in the cultivation pagoda. They can't not give her anything, right? Su Jin acted shamelessly. Even if the blood pool is useless to her, it's always good to soak in it. Don't you think so, old Mao? Didn't we give her the spirit stone? Mao Sanquan glared at him. Just one spirit stone. Tell me, do you like it or not? I, Su Jin student, Do you think she lacks spirit stones? If you want to give her something, give her a better one. Sujin walked to Mao Sanquan's desk and sat down. He didn't have the image of a teacher at all. He looked no different from a hoodlum. Chapter 640. Mao Sanquan, on the other hand, was used to his behavior. Seeing his half-smile, he took out a small box from his space ring and threw it to Sima Yue. This is my personal compensation to you. Sima Yue opened the box and saw a blood-red spirit stone inside. Judging by its color, she could tell that it was very valuable. If she were to absorb the spiritual power contained within it, she was afraid that the effect would not be any worse than if she were to cultivate in the cultivation pagoda for a month. Sujin glanced at the spirit stones. Seeing that they weren't bad, he smiled and said, "Old Mao, you really have a lot of good things. Yue, since Director Mao gave it to you, you should keep it." Yes. Sima Yue put away all the things she had just received and said to Mao Sanquan, "Thank you, Director Mao. Cultivate well. In the future, this world will belong to you youngsters." Mao Sanquan lectured. "I'm from the student union," Sima Yue said respectfully. "All right, if there's nothing else, quickly disappear from my sight." Mao Sanquan urged Sujin. "Director Mao, I have something to ask you," Sima Yue said. Mao Sanquan was a little surprised, but he still smiled and said, "Ask me, what is it?" "It's like this. I have a younger brother who entered the inner courtyard more than a year ago. However, my elder brother said that there was no news about him. So I wanted to inquire about his whereabouts." Sima Yue said. "What's his name?" Mao Sanquan asked. "Little Tuesday." "Little Tuesday?" Mao Sanquan's eyes flashed with surprise. "He's your younger brother." "He's not my biological brother, but he's been living with us ever since we saved him from the bad guys a few years ago. We all treat him as our brother," Sima Yue said. "He's not in the academy right now," Mao Sanquan said. "Don't ask me where he is, I don't know either. This matter is being handled by Vice Principal Fan." "What's wrong with Little Two?" Sima Yue asked worriedly. "Don't worry, he should be fine," Mao Sanquan said. "Director Mao, what happened to Little Two? When he was cultivating in the blood pool, I don't know why, but the spirit beast bloodline in his body completely awakened, and his body was unable to withstand the power of the bloodline." Mao Sanquan explained. "So when he left, it was very dangerous. I don't know what's going on now. Previously, the vice principal had already sent back news that his condition had stabilized. However, there has been no news for the past year," Mao Sanquan replied. "No news is good news," Sujin said. "I've seen that little fellow of yours. His body is still okay, so he shouldn't die that easily." Sima Yu's heart was choked by his straightforward words, but she subconsciously believed his words. "All right, let's go. Don't disturb old Mao here." Sujin got down from Mao Sanquan's desk and turned to leave. "Oh right, Principal Yuan will be back in a few months." Mao Sanquan's voice made Sujin stop in his tracks. He shrugged and said, "He's finally coming back after being gone for so long. What's wrong with his head?" Mao Sanquan glanced at Sima Yue without a trace, then his gaze landed in the distance. He faintly said, "Something happened that he had to come back to deal with, so he had to come back. In short, you have to work hard. Don't let him deal with you as soon as he comes back." I know. If there's nothing else, let's go." Sujin impatiently waved his hand, as if he wasn't happy about the news of Principal Yuan's return. Sima Yue followed him out. Seeing his dejected look, she couldn't help but ask, "You don't have a good relationship with Principal Yuan?" Sujin shook his head. If they didn't have a good relationship, he would have left long ago. Why would he stay here for so many years, just because he promised him? "You have a good relationship with Principal Yuan?" she asked again. Sujin nodded, then shook his head. Then he looked at the sky at a 45-degree angle and sighed sadly. He originally said that he would bring Sima Yue around, but now he wasn't in the mood. He brought her back to the courtyard and told her to do whatever she wanted. Then he went back to his room, leaving her confused. "Little junior brother, it's good that you're back. Let's discuss the problem of alchemy." Han Miao Shuang came out of the alchemy room and saw Sima Yue standing in the courtyard. She waved at her. Sima Yue walked over and said, "Second senior sister, aren't you refining pills?" "Yeah, I refined one furnace and failed. So I didn't continue." Han Miaoshuang said. "Why are you standing in the courtyard like a fool?" "Second senior sister, I want to ask you something." "All right, go ahead. How's the relationship between Master and Principal Yuan?" "Very good." Han Miaoshuang nodded. Then why did his mood change so drastically when he heard that Principal Yuan was coming back? The sunny day suddenly turned into a rainy day. He was so depressed. He said that he would bring me to transfer schools, but he didn't go in the end. He brought me back. Sima Yue said. "When is Principal Yuan coming back?" Han Miaoshuang blinked her eyes and asked curiously. Instructor Mao didn't say. Sima Yue said, "No, second senior sister. This isn't the main point. The main point is why did Master become like this when he heard that Principal Yuan was coming back? About that, don't bother about him. He's conflicted. It'll be fine once he's conflicted." Han Miaoshuang said. "Come and see for me. Why do my pills always fail at this step? What's Master conflicted about?" Sima Yue didn't understand. Every time Principal Yuan was coming back, Master would be happier. But Principal Yuan would always bring him out to teach him a lesson. Then he would catch him for his bad work and tell him not to be arrogant. He shouldn't ignore the students. He shouldn't always quarrel with the students' teachers. So every time he hears that Principal Yuan was coming back, he's always like this. He wants him to come back, but doesn't want him to come back. Just pretend that you didn't see it. Han Miaoshuang picked up the herbs and said casually. Sima Yue pursed her lips. She was worried about him just now. It turned out that he was conflicted about this. That's why he was so depressed. Thinking about little two, she started to worry again. She didn't know how he was doing now. "Little junior brother, don't think about it. Come and see where I went wrong." Han Miaoshuang saw that Sima Yue was still in a daze and urged her. "Oh." Sima Yue walked over and leaned towards her pill furnace. She put her nose to the side of the pill furnace and sniffed carefully. She asked curiously, "Second senior sister, do you refine pills like this every time?" "Yeah, why?" Han Miaoshuang nodded. "I'm really curious. How did you survive until now?" Chapter 641. Han Miaoshuang was shocked by Sima Yue's roar. But she didn't understand why she was so angry. "Little junior brother, is there a problem?" Sima Yue took out the herbs and said, "Refine it again. Then I'll tell you what's wrong." "You really saw through it." Han Miaoshuang looked at Sima Yue in disbelief. She knew that there was a problem just by smelling the residue of her own refinement. This was a huge blow to her. "You have to refine it first, so that I can confirm if it is what I think it is," Sima Yue said. "All right then." Han Miaoshuang refined the herbs again. Sima Yue watched her refining technique from the side. She didn't expect her to know so many refining techniques. But her divine sense wasn't strong enough, so she didn't refine much each time. Although Han Miaoshuang loved to eat, and her personality was a little cheerful, once she started refining pills, her entire person changed. He was quite similar to Fatty Chu in this aspect. When they started refining, Sima Yue didn't say anything. But when Han Miaoshuang started fusing, she stared at her closely. Moreover, it was far away. Sure enough, half an hour later, some restless noises began to come from the pill furnace. Then, there was a loud explosion, and the lid of the pill furnace was lifted. As for Han Miaoshuang, she had congealed a protective layer the moment the explosion occurred, and she had retreated far away. Sima Yue took a look. When the furnace exploded, the furnace and the alchemy room were protected by a layer of faint ripples. Sima Yue watched as Han Miaoshuang condensed the protective layer and jumped out of the explosion range in one go. She sighed at how fast her reaction was. Han Miaoshuang chuckled and said, "I've experienced this many times. It's already become a conditioned reflex. This pill furnace is actually fine." She walked over and looked at the pill furnace that had returned to normal. She was a little curious. This pill furnace has an array engraved on it. This room also has an array. Once an explosion occurs, it will automatically activate. Han Miaoshuang explained. "Little junior brother, can you tell? I've been stuck here for a long time. If I still can't figure out the problem, I can only go to Master. Have you never looked for your master? Sima Yue asked. Didn't Master go out a while ago? After he came back, he was nowhere to be seen. Han Miaoshuang said. Usually, when we encounter this kind of situation, we will look for the problem ourselves. Then look for eldest senior brother. If even he can't solve it, then we will look for Master. I see. Sima Yue nodded. How is it? Have you found out where my problem lies? Han Miaoshuang asked. Actually, your question is very simple. What's this? Sima Yue picked up a pale yellow flower. Sanzi flower. How about this? Sima Yue took out another stalk. Fern roots. Could it be that these two medicinal properties are conflicting? Han Miaoshuang looked at the three-seed flower and fern soil root in her hands, and looked at her in confusion. One is of the wood attribute, the other is of the earth attribute. The two don't clash. It's not a problem of the medicinal properties clashing, Sima Yue said. These two medicinal herbs are supposed to complement each other. Usually, when they are together, they will increase the efficacy of each other. Then why? Han Miaoshuang was even more confused. The problem lies in this. Sima Yue raised the fern soil root in her hands. Fern soil root? Why is it this? Many 7th-ranked pills use it. Han Miaoshuang said. That's right. But the three-seed flower is rarely used. Sima Yue said. The fern soil root's medicinal properties are mild. It plays a supporting role in many pills, and can increase the success rate. But it won't work here. Because of the three-seed flower. The three-seed flower and the fern soil root have a similarity. That is, the medicinal properties change. Sima Yue said. After the three-seed flower is refined, the wood attribute will decrease, and the water attribute will increase. As for the fern soil root, the earth attribute contains the fire attribute. If it is refined for a long time, the earth attribute will evaporate, leaving behind the fire attribute. When the water and fire meet, and there is no harmonization, it would be strange if the furnace doesn't explode. Han Miaoshuang slapped her forehead. So it's like this. Some medicinal herbs will change their attributes during the refining process. I knew this before, but I didn't expect to forget about it. Thank you, junior brother. If it wasn't for you, I would still be doing useless work. This medicinal herb doesn't change much, and it's even rarer to encounter two at the same time. It's normal that senior sister didn't think of it immediately. Sima Yue said. Han Miaoshuang looked at the medicinal herbs and smiled happily. Now that we know where the problem lies, it's easy to handle. She excitedly cleaned up the residue, and took out another set of medicinal herbs to refine. This time, she took an extra set of medicinal herbs to harmonize the conflicting attributes. Sima Yue watched from the side. This Han Miaoshuang was indeed Su Jin's favorite disciple. Once the problem was pointed out, she immediately knew how to deal with it. Every step was very strict and handled perfectly. That was why she succeeded on her first try. Han Miaoshuang looked at the two pills in her hand, and shook her head in disappointment. It's still a little lacking during the fusion. Otherwise, I would be able to refine 3 pills. Senior sister, you succeeded on your first try. The fusion is close to perfection. I believe you will be able to refine 3 pills on your second try. Sima Yue smiled and comforted her. Hearing Sima Yue's words, Han Miaoshuang was no longer conflicted. Anyway, she wasn't a super genius like Kong Junshul. She didn't need to compete with anyone. Senior sister, I'll go out first. She had seen it and roughly knew Han Miaoshuang's strength. Junior brother, what are you planning to do? Watching senior sister refine pills made my hands itch. I'll go back and refine 2 batches of pills to try it out. Sima Yue said. Don't. Anyway, you're going to practice. Why don't you practice here? We can discuss if there's anything. Han Miaoshuang hurriedly said. Sima Yue saw her blinking eyes and knew that she wanted to see how she would refine pills. Since they were from the same sect, and she didn't stop her from looking at her, it wasn't a big deal to show her how to refine pills. She nodded and said, All right, then I'll practice here. If there's anything wrong, senior sister can point it out to me. What kind of pills does junior brother want to refine? Why don't you refine what I did just now? I still have the medicinal herbs. Han Miaoshuang said. Senior sister, that's a high-grade pill among the 7th-grade pills. I can't refine it now. If I were to refine it, I'd end up wasting a batch of medicinal herbs. Sima Yue said. Han Miaoshuang thought about it and agreed. No matter how powerful Sima Yue was, she couldn't have broken through to the 8th grade so quickly. The pill that she refined just now couldn't be refined without the strength of an 8th grade. Then what do you plan to refine? Chapter 642. Sima Yue walked around the room where the medicinal ingredients were stored. She saw that these medicinal ingredients, together with the ones she had, were just enough to refine a minor origin pill. Hence, she took out all the medicinal ingredients. New dagger Qizhong. 1 by dagger. Here this minor elemental pill was a 7th grade pill. The refining process was relatively simple, but it required a strong mental strength to refine. Furthermore, this pill could be consumed by both humans and spirit beasts. Last time, Shui Qing Man was cured after consuming this pill. Since there were medicinal herbs here, she refined 2 portions and carried them with her. In the future, if anyone was seriously injured, they could use it to save their lives. You want to refine a small origin pill? Han Miaoshuang saw the herbs she chose and knew what she wanted to refine. This little origin pill isn't that easy to refine. No, you're a 7th grade alchemist. Sima Yue was shocked by her scream. Senior sister, you scared me. You're the one who scared me. Han Miaoshuang said. You're actually a 7th ranked alchemist. At that time, the green lotus pill that she refined during the assessment was a 6th grade medicinal pill. They all thought that it was amazing for her to become a 6th grade alchemist at her age. Most of the other people who entered the inner courtyard were over 100 years old. But he didn't expect her to be a 7th grade alchemist. 7th grade, ah. How many alchemists could only reach 7th grade in their entire lives? And she had already reached it at the age of 30. Senior sister, I am a 7th grade alchemist. You don't have to be so surprised. Sima Yue said. You're still not surprised? In the past, the 3 of us always thought that our talents were the best. Eldest senior brother was the most powerful one here. However, he only entered the 7th grade when he was 100 years old. I only became a 7th grade alchemist when I was 130 years old. Xiao Xiao was more than 150. Your talent. Han Miaoshuang felt that she had been deeply provoked today. Compared to her, there were so many streets ahead of her. Su Xiao, who had just finished refining pills, was attracted by Han Miaoshuang's voice. Knowing that Sima Yue was already a 7th grade alchemist, his jaw dropped so wide that a fist could be stuffed in. Kong Junchul had just come out of his pill refining room when he heard the commotion. He subconsciously walked over. Senior sister, I was only able to achieve such results because of some opportunities. Sima Yue said. Strictly speaking, she didn't really become a 7th grade alchemist in her 20s or 30s, because she spent most of her time in the spirit pagoda. It looked like many years from the outside, but in reality, she spent a little more time. Furthermore, she had started under Emo Sha's guidance. Back then, Emo Sha was also a famous alchemist in the 3 realms, and was acknowledged by the 3 realms. Although her talent wasn't bad, the experience of 3 lifetimes plus the cultivation of the soul refining art made her soul force many times stronger than others. This was very important for alchemy and array formation. If it weren't for all these, she wouldn't have been able to achieve what she did at her current age. No matter what the reason is, the end result is that you have such results now. Han Miaoshuang said. That's right. Su Xiaoxiao agreed. Have you refined the little origin pill before? Kong Junchul asked. I've refined it before. I used 3 sets of ingredients and only succeeded once. Sima Yue said. So I want to practice a few more times to become more familiar with it. Junior brother, then you refine it. We'll watch from the side. Su Xiaoxiao said. Xiao, I remember that you refined this pill more than 10 times and only succeeded once? Han Miaoshuang said. Su Xiaoxiao scratched his head embarrassedly and said, Yes, I was scolded by master at that time. Look at junior brother, he succeeded in 3 tries. Han Miaoshuang patted his shoulder. Xiao Xiao, work hard. Didn't you succeed after 5 or 6 tries? You still scolded me. Su Xiaoxiao said. The steps to refine the little origin pill aren't too complicated, but it requires strong control of mental strength. If your mental strength isn't up to par, it's naturally impossible. So even if some alchemists have been in the 7th grade for a long time, they might not be able to refine the little origin pill. Kong Junchul leaned against the door and said, Xiao Zhao's weakest point is his mental strength. That's why he failed so many times. Su Xiaoxiao scratched the back of his head and said embarrassedly, I've been cultivating my mental strength according to master's instructions. It's much better now. Junior brother, are you ready? If you're ready, then let's start. We can't wait. Han Miaoshuang urged. Sima Yue had been counting the ingredients while they were talking. When she heard Han Miaoshuang urging her, she smiled and said, Senior sister, haste makes waste. Although she said that, she still put the ingredients away and took out her own pill furnace. She placed a flame at the bottom and began to preheat it. She waited until the pill furnace's temperature was about right before she began to refine the ingredients. Her refining method was different from theirs. Although it was the same refining method, it was faster than theirs. The purity of the refining was also higher. Time passed bit by bit. Refining, fusing, condensing pills. Every step was carried out in an orderly manner. With the previous experience, she successfully refined the pills this time. However, she didn't have the same realm as before. The pills she refined weren't as good as the last time, and didn't attract a pill tribulation. However, the quantity increased by 1. She looked at the pills in her hand, and knew that not all pills would attract a pill tribulation. Junior brother's refining method is so special. There are many areas that are more detailed than ours. Su Xiaoxiao said excitedly. Junior brother, can I watch you refine pills more often in the future? Sure. Sima Yue replied. Anyway, they were very quiet when they watched her refine pills. It didn't matter if they were there or not. Thank you, junior brother. Su Xiaoxiao said happily. They learned a lot from Su Jin when it came to refining pills, so it was more or less the same. Now that there was a newcomer, and such a strong newcomer, it was as if they were injected with new blood. Your pill refining rate has always been 100%. Kong Junchul asked. Usually, after refining successfully, there are very few failures. However, it's not 100%. That's still very high. Han Miaoshuang said. After watching her refine pills, they couldn't help but be convinced by Su Jin's vision. This junior brother's strength wasn't just for show. I have some understanding. I'll go and reflect on it. Kong Junchul finished speaking and left. I also feel that the areas that I didn't understand before seem to be cleared up. I'll go too. Su Xiaoxiao also left. Sima Yue tidied up the pill furnace and said to Han Miaoshuang, Senior sister, do you want to continue refining pills or go back to rest? Han Miaoshuang looked at her pill furnace. Her heart that originally wanted to eat meat was shaken. I'll continue refining pills. Alright then. I originally wanted to make some barbecued meat. Since senior sister isn't free, I'll go by myself. Chapter 643. Han Miaoshuang's eyes lit up when she heard that there was food. She immediately corrected herself. We've been refining for the entire day. It's almost dawn now. Let's rest and eat something. We'll have the energy to continue tomorrow. The food they ate during the day was so delicious, so the barbecued meat must be good as well. Thinking of barbecued meat, she felt like she was about to drool. Sima Yue looked at her greedy face and laughed, saying, We can't cook in the courtyard now. It's alright, I have a place. Han Miaoshuang smiled mysteriously. Half an hour later, the two of them arrived at a valley. This place is not bad. Sima Yue looked at the quiet valley. It was a good place to eat secretly. Where is this? This is the mountain behind the academy. Usually very few people come here. I used to come here whenever I wanted to eat. Han Miaoshuang said. Why are we here, not at your place? Sima Yue took out the tools to barbecue the meat, and Han Miao's eyes widened. In the past, I used to cook in the courtyard, but after Xiao Xiao came, I rarely ate. You know, he's a neat freak. If I make it too dirty, he'll fly into a rage. Just like what happened this morning. Han Miao Shuang said helplessly. After that, I often went out to eat. Sometimes when I wanted to do it myself, I couldn't just find a random place. After all, there were quite a few students in the academy. That's why I came here. This place is not far from the school. Aren't you afraid of being seen by other students? Sima Yue asked. No. Otherwise, I wouldn't have chosen this place. Han Miao Shuang said with certainty. Senior sister, are you so sure? Of course, the academy's forbidden area is just a little further away, so very few people come here. Those who came were all unusual people, so they didn't dare to tell anyone that I was eating here. Otherwise, isn't it obvious that we've been to the forbidden area? Han Miao Shuang said with a smile. When she saw Sima Yue take out a lot of meat and put it aside, she said in surprise, Yue, why do you still have so much meat on you? I used to hang out with my brother and friends. I always liked to cook. Sima Yue smiled. They're so lucky, Han Miao Shuang said enviously. Since we've been together all the time, everyone knows how to cook now. I'm not the one who cooks every time, Sima Yue explained. Then are they also good at cooking? The craftsmanship is indeed not bad, but there are only a few who are good, and the rest are just assistants. Then bring them over to play next time. Han Miao Shuang said with a smile. Sure. Sima Yue agreed readily. It was good that Bei Gong and the rest knew her. Great. In the future, when you don't have time, you can find them to make food for me. Han Miao Shuang clapped her hands. It was decided. Sima Yue felt like she had accidentally sold them off. Senior sister, since you like to eat so much, don't you know how to make it? I only know how to roast meat, Han Miao Shuang said. So every time I hunt, I come here to roast meat. The others won't. What about when you want to eat it? Let's eat outside. I used to look for food everywhere. Later on, I opened Memory Restaurant, and I often go there to eat. I even got a membership card, and I get a discount every time. Han Miao Shuang said happily. Little junior brother, have you eaten at Memory Restaurant before? If you haven't, I'll bring you there next time. Sima Yue saw how excited she was, and wondered if she should tell her that it was hers now. Senior sister, why do you like to eat so much? She took out a metal skewer and started to skewer the meat. Han Miao Shuang came to help, and her movements were very practiced. Actually, it's a shadow from when I was young, Han Miao Shuang said. At that time, I was only 10 years old. I didn't reach the stage where I didn't need to eat. Once I was locked in a small dark room for 7 to 8 days. I didn't eat or drink. When I came out, I was almost dead. At that time, I was so hungry that I couldn't let go of the hunger. Even if I didn't need to eat later on, it was still the same. So later on I liked to eat. Every time my stomach was stuffed to the brim, I felt so happy. Sima Yue saw the smile on her face, and could understand how she felt when she was young. She also understood why she liked to eat so much. Senior sister, do you often go out to eat? That's right. Memory Restaurant is the place I go the most now, Han Miao Shuang said. But although we have a few more chances to go out than other students, and can go out once a month, it's still not enough. So I can only do it myself. But I really want to eat Memory Restaurant's food. What does senior sister want to eat? Braised lion's head. Saliva chicken. Han Miao Shuang answered without thinking. Then you don't want to eat barbecued meat? I do, Han Miao Shuang said. Barbecued meat can be eaten now. Braised lion's head and saliva chicken are what I want to eat. Sigh, it's a pity that there's still a long time left. I don't know how long I have to endure before I can eat it. But now that you're here, I don't have to eat barbecued meat all the time. Sima Yue skewered the meat. The charcoal on the barbecue rack was already burning, and the rack was hot. She placed the meat skewers on top to barbecued, then placed all the seasonings at the side. Little junior brother, you have so many seasonings. I only have half of yours, Han Miao Shuang said. If you want the food to taste good, these seasonings are indispensable, Sima Yue said. I'll give senior sister some later. Okay. Han Miao Shuang nodded quickly. As time passed, the aroma of the barbecued meat slowly spread. Seeing Sima Yue placing the seasonings one by one, Han Miao Shuang felt that her saliva was about to flow out. Sima Yue placed the barbecued meat on a plate. Han Miaoshuang couldn't wait to take the plate over. She picked up a skewer and smelled it, saying, "Little junior brother, you smell so fragrant. It'll definitely taste better when you eat it." She tore the meat off in one bite. The boiling temperature made her exhale uncontrollably, shouting that it was so hot. "Senior sister, no one will snatch it from you tonight. Eat slowly." Sima Yue picked up a few skewers of raw meat and placed them on the rack. Then she started barbecuing again. At the same time, she took out a piece of meat and onions, ginger and garlic. She turned the barbecued meat twice before chopping it. Then, she looked at the time and turned the barbecued meat again. After Han Miaoshuang finished the barbecued meat in her hand, she saw Sima Yue chopping the meat and asked, "Little junior brother, what are you chopping meat for?" "Making braised lion's head. Didn't you say you wanted to eat it?" Sima Yue said. "You know how to make braised lion's head?" Han Miaoshuang exclaimed. "Yes." Sima Yue said. "You turn the barbecued meat. I'll take out the chicken and stew it." "You're not going to make the spit?" Han Miaoshuang felt that she was too blessed tonight. Who's there?" Sima Yue suddenly shouted towards Han Miaoshuang's back. Han Miaoshuang also felt that someone was there. She turned around and stared at the shadow not far away. Chapter 644. Sima Yue put down the things in her hands and looked over there. "Who's sneaking around?" She and Han Miaoshuang didn't act rashly because they could feel that the other party's strength was higher than theirs. They waited for a while, but there was no movement. However, they didn't dare to lower their guard because they didn't see anyone leave. Sima Yue rolled her eyes and stopped looking there. She said to Han Miaoshuang, "Senior sister, it's time to add seasoning to the barbecue." Oh. Han Miaoshuang passed the barbecued meat to Sima Yue. She picked up the seasoning at the side and started brushing it. The aroma immediately spread throughout the valley. After roasting for a while, Sima Yue placed the roasted meat on a plate and said, "Senior sister, here you go." Han Miaoshuang took the plate and brought it to the side to eat. Sima Yue wasn't in a hurry to continue roasting. She took out a jar of fruit wine and threw it to Han Miaoshuang. Han Miaoshuang opened the seal, and the aroma of wine and spirit fruits wafted out. "Wow, it smells good." Han Miaoshuang hugged the wine jar and took a sip, sighing in satisfaction. "Little junior brother, how did you get Memory Restaurant's fruit wine?" "Because I'm the one who brewed this." Sima Yue took out a processed chicken and put it into the pot. She added some water and covered it properly. Then, she lit a flame at the bottom of the pot and left it there. Han Miaoshuang wanted to ask more, but Sima Yue gave her a look, so she swallowed her words and said, "Little junior brother, this wine goes well with the roasted meat. It feels so good. Can you roast some more for me?" "I'm not grilling tonight. You can finish those skewers," Sima Yue said. "Me too." As soon as her voice fell, a tender voice floated over from the shadow just now. Then, a small figure rushed over and sat beside Han Miaoshuang, snatching the plate in her hand. Han Miaoshuang looked at the little girl sitting beside her and was stunned. "Who are you?" Sima Yue did not expect that the one hiding there was actually a little girl. Looking at the way she wolfed down the food, as if she had not eaten for hundreds of years, her heart softened. "Eat slowly, don't burn yourself." "Woo woo." The little girl ignored her and only lowered her head to eat the barbecued meat. She did not feel that the barbecued meat was hot at all. When she was done eating, she raised her head and looked at Sima Yue. Her gaze told her that she wanted more. "No more." Sima Yue understood her gaze and pointed to the raw meat that had not been roasted yet. "If you want to eat it, you have to roast it now." "You roast it." The little girl bared her teeth and said, "Or I'll eat you." "If you eat me, no one will cook for you." Sima Yue said. "Then I won't eat you. You roast it." The little girl put away her fierce look and turned into a cute little doll. "But I don't know you, why should I roast it for you?" Sima Yue teased her. The little girl tilted her head and thought for a while. Suddenly, she took out something as thick as a forearm and handed it to her. "I'll use this carrot to exchange with you, okay?" "This is a carrot." Sima Yue's mouth twitched. This was obviously a 1,000-year-old crystal ginseng. I don't know what it is either. But it's similar to a carrot, so I called it a carrot. The little girl said. Many people wanted it at that time. How about it? I'll use this to exchange with you. You roast meat for me. Sima Yue saw her pure gaze, and suddenly felt that she should not tease her. Keep this for yourself. I'll cook for you. She touched the little girl's head and said. The little girl wanted to bite her because of her action, but when she thought that if she bit her, there would be no one to cook for her, she controlled herself. Exchange. She stuffed the crystal ginseng into Sima Yue's hands. She did not want to take advantage of her. Sima Yue placed the crystal ginseng in her hands again. This thing is very precious. You'll be at a disadvantage if you use it to exchange for food. I only have this. The little girl said. Take it. I have a lot more. You have a lot of this. Sima Yue and Han Miaoshuang were surprised. I don't have many of these carrots. But I have other carrots. The little girl said. Then can you show me your other carrots? Sima Yue asked. You don't want this? The little girl thought for a while. She thought that Sima Yue did not want this. She took out a bunch of rare herbs and placed them on the table. Which one do you want? Choose it yourself. Sima Yue saw the things she took out and said in surprise. Why do you have so many herbs? I found them myself. There are so many in this mountain. I can find a lot if I go out. The little girl said. Do you want this? Why do you have so many herbs? Sima Yue pressed her hand back, indicating that she did not want her things. To eat. The little girl said as she took out a crystal ginseng and took a bite. Then she spat it out. It doesn't taste good. You eat this. Han Miaoshuang widened her eyes. Yes, I used to eat this. The little girl said. Then she complained again. It doesn't taste good. You barbecued meat for me. I'll give you this. Sima Yue looked at the little girl in confusion. She did not know who she was. She could swallow the herbs directly and not be hurt by the strong medicinal effects. She thought that she was so young and had more power than her. She thought that she was a transformed spirit beast. But she did not feel the aura of a spirit beast. So she was not sure. What's your name? Little Seven. Little Seven, you play here with Sister Miaoshuang. I'll make braised lion's head for you. Sima Yue said. Braised lion's head? There's no lion here. Little Seven looked around. She did not see a lion. There was not even a lion's fur. You'll know in a while. Sima Yue reached out and scratched Little Seven's nose. All right, junior brother. I haven't finished talking. How do you know Memory Restaurant's unique dishes? Han Miaoshuang thought of the question that was interrupted. Now that she mentioned the braised lion's head, she thought of this question again. Because I taught them. Sima Yue continued to deal with the ingredients in front of her. You taught them? Does Memory Restaurant belong to you? Not really. It belongs to a friend of mine. I taught him these dishes. Later on, he opened Memory Restaurant and used these dishes. Sima Yue said. But the Memory Restaurant in Heavenly City belongs to me. Next time, when you go to Memory Restaurant to eat, say my name and it'll be free. Haha, it's really yours. Han Miaoshuang cheered happily. Next time when I go to eat, don't ask for money. The things you have there are so expensive. Chapter 645. Sima Yue smiled. Go, I won't charge you. All right. Sima Yue thought for a while, then took out some spirit fruits and placed them in front of the two of them, saying, Eat this first, the food will be ready soon. All right. Little junior brother, your spirit fruit is so fresh. Han Miaoshuang happily picked up the spirit fruit to eat. Little Seven didn't say anything, and just took a bite of the spirit fruit. She's big sister. Why do you call her little junior brother? Little Seven bit the spirit fruit and asked. Sima Yue's hand paused, and Han Miaoshuang forgot to bite the spirit fruit that was in her mouth. Little Seven, what are you talking about? I'm a man. Sima Yue said with a smile. You're not. You're a woman, not one of those stinky men. Little Seven said with certainty. Those men all stink, but you smell good. You must be a woman. Little Seven won't make a mistake. Little junior brother, are you really a girl? Han Miaoshuang looked at her in surprise. Will you keep it a secret for me? Otherwise, there won't be any food left. Sima Yue admitted. Heavens, you're really a woman. The spirit fruit in Han Miaoshuang's hand fell to the ground as she looked at Sima Yue in disbelief. Seeing her wink at her, she quickly nodded. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Little Seven, what about you? Sima Yue looked at Little Seven. Will you always cook for me? Little Seven asked in return. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. This little fellow was threatening her. I don't have that much time to prepare food for you. Sima Yue shrugged. Just cook for me when you have time. Little Seven said. Okay. Sima Yue smiled. Since you've promised me, don't let the cat out of the bag. Brother. Seven said. What? Han Miaoshuang turned to look at Little Seven. Then it's settled. Sima Yue understood what she meant and went to cook for the two of them without worry. Sima Yue quickly made lion's head and saliva chicken for the two of them. Seeing that the two of them were still hungry, she roasted the rest of the barbecued meat for them. Seeing the two pairs of green eyes, she went to make a beggar's chicken and a large portion of diving rabbit for them. Only then did the two of them barely eat enough. Sima Yue looked at the two of them rubbing their stomachs with one hand and helplessly looked at the direction of the forbidden area. It seemed like she couldn't achieve her goal of treating Han Miaoshuang to a meal tonight. Brother, do you want to go to the forbidden grounds? Little Seven asked when she saw Sima Yue staring at the forbidden grounds. Big brother has been looking over there. Little Seven said. If Big brother wants to go, Little Seven can bring you there. You're taking me there? Isn't the forbidden area forbidden? Sima Yue asked. TSK, why can't we go there? I saw a lot of people going there. Little Seven pouted. You saw people going in? Han Miaoshuang asked in surprise. Yeah, a lot of people. Often there are a few waves in a night. Little Seven said casually. Little Seven, how do you know? Because I often watch here. Little Seven said. But recently there are fewer people coming. How did Little Seven see it? I often look for food here, so I saw it. Little Seven said. Then do you know who went there? I don't know. Some of them went in and didn't come out. Some came out and some didn't. Little Seven said. But I don't care who went in. But if Big brother wants to go in, I can help you. Little junior brother, do you want to go to the forbidden grounds? Han Miaoshuang asked. I don't want to go. I'm just curious about the forbidden grounds. Sima Yue said. I don't know what good things there are in the forbidden grounds. Han Miaoshuang wasn't suspicious of Sima Yue's words. She smiled. There's nothing good in the forbidden grounds. Senior sister, you know about it? Sima Yue asked in surprise. Hehe. I went in with master once and saw the things inside. Han Miaoshuang said. Are there a lot of treasures in there? Sima Yue asked. Those treasures aren't that rare. Han Miaoshuang said. Some of them aren't as good as masters. I heard that there's an Eye of Earth in the forbidden grounds. Sima Yue probed. Eye of Earth? What's that? Han Miaoshuang asked. Senior sister, you haven't heard of it? I heard that many people in the sect know about it. Sima Yue asked. Han Miaoshuang shook her head. Don't think that us three brothers have been in the inner sect for a long time. We don't know many things about the sect. The Eye of Earth isn't in the forbidden grounds. Little Seven suddenly said. You know? Of course. Is there anything in the sect that I don't know? Little Seven raised her little face proudly. I often wander around the sect. I've heard a lot of things. It's just that I don't like those people, so I don't like to be with them. You're from the sect too? Humph. Little Seven snorted. Sima Yue smiled, this proud little girl. Brother, you want the Eye of Earth? Little Seven's expression was a little strange. Seeing that Sima Yue was silent, she patted her chest and said, Brother, if you want it, Little Seven can get it. You? Han Miaoshuang turned her head and looked at Little Seven. What idea do you have? Why should I tell you? Little Seven ignored her and turned to look at Sima Yue. Brother, do you want it? I want it. But the Eye of Earth is definitely hidden in a very hidden place. It's also very dangerous. How can I let you go? Sima Yue sat beside Little Seven, looking at her crystal clear skin. She couldn't help but stretch out her hand and pinch her nose. I'm very powerful. Little Seven slapped away Sima Yue's hand and said. I know Little Seven is very powerful. Sima Yue said. But you're still young. I'll think of a way myself. Brother, what do you want the Eye of Earth for? Little Seven asked. My brother's health isn't good, he needs a little bit to heal. Sima Yue said. How much is a little bit? 8 ounces. Sima Yue said. Only 8 ounces. Little Seven heard it and heaved a sigh of relief. It's not even a caddy. It won't hurt the Eye of Earth. How do you know? Sima Yue rubbed Little Seven's head. Of course, no one in this world knows the Eye of Earth better than me, Little Seven said proudly. But you're not allowed to take the risk. Sima Yue said. Why? Little Seven didn't understand. Because you're still young. I'll think of a way myself. Humph. Little Seven saw that Sima Yue didn't believe her. She pouted unhappily. You should just stay in the sect and cultivate. Sima Yue pinched her little nose again. Little Seven turned her head away unhappily. She thought to herself, wait till I bring it to you. Let's see if you still dare to look down on me. Chapter 646. Little Junior Brother, if you need the Eye of Earth, you can try it with Master. Han Miaoshuang said. I'll ask Master. Sima Yue said. But I'm not in a hurry, there's still time to check. Humph. Little Seven snorted coldly in protest. Seeing that Little Seven was still angry, he patted her head and got up to put away the pots and pans. All right, it's getting late. Let's go back. You're right. It's time to go back. Han Miaoshuang stood up as well. All right, little guy, go back quickly. I'm not small. Little Seven snorted. Sima Yue and Han Miaoshuang prepared to return to Parting Garden. Little Seven saw them leave and followed them. Little Seven, you've been out for an entire night, right? Aren't you going back? Sima Yue asked. Let's go together. Little Seven grabbed Sima Yue's clothes. Together? Do you want to go back with us? Little Seven nodded. You're not from our courtyard, you can't go back with us. Han Miaoshuang said. Yes. Little Seven grabbed Sima Yue's hand and refused to let go. She was determined to go back with her. Sima Yue lowered her head and looked at the little hand that was grabbing her, then looked at Han Miaoshuang and said awkwardly, Senior sister, why don't we? Up to you. Master likes you so much now. It shouldn't be a big deal to bring someone back. Han Miaoshuang saw that she was soft-hearted and couldn't be bothered. Come back with me then. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand. When the three of them returned to the courtyard, Su Xiaoxiao was already cleaning the courtyard. Good morning, third senior brother. Su Xiaoxiao was holding a broom. Seeing them come in, she smiled and said, Did you go out to eat again last night? You even know about this? We alchemists have very sensitive noses. All of you have a fragrance that wasn't there yesterday. Su Xiao said. Who is this little child? Her name is Little Seven. She might be here in the future. Sima Yue said. Master, he must still be sleeping. I'll look for him later. Little Seven, this is third senior brother Su Xiaoxiao. If you want to stay here in the future, you can play with him. No, it stinks. Little Seven turned her head. Stinky? Su Xiaoxiao smelled herself. She had just taken a shower. She didn't stink, but Little Seven still despised it. I haven't rested for so long, I'm going back to sleep. Han Miaoshuang yawned as she walked towards the attic. Little junior brother, is this little guy coming over or staying here? Su Xiaoxiao asked. What is it? If she's going to stay here, I'll have to clean up her room, Su Xiao said. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven and said to Su Xiao, Let me ask Master first. If Su Jin didn't want Little Seven to stay here, she couldn't force it. Okay, Master went to bed early last night. He will probably wake up early today, Su Xiaoxiao reminded him. Got it. Little Seven, let's head back. Sima Yue brought Little Seven back to the house and gave her a lot of food to eat. She let her play at the side and then started to take out the herbs and fiddle with it. Little Seven was a strange child. On one hand, she was cold towards Han Miaoshuang, but on the other hand, she was very dependent on Sima Yue. Sima Yue attributed this to her contract with the Spirit Pagoda, which had a unique attraction to spirits. Little Seven, how old are you? Sima Yue fiddled with the herbs for a while. Seeing that Little Seven was still eating, she walked over and took the food down. Little Seven saw that the food was taken away and was a little unhappy, but she still answered her question obediently. I don't know how old I am. I forgot. How old am I exactly? Little Seven knocked on her head. Forgot? Sima Yue looked at Little Seven's distressed look and subconsciously thought that she was hurt and forgot about the past. Forget it then. Look at you, you're definitely not old. Sima Yue said. But I don't know your identity. You're so powerful at such a young age. Eat. Little Seven looked at the dried meat that Sima Yue took away and said, Little Seven, you've already eaten a lot. Be careful not to stuff your stomach. I'm hungry. Little Seven patted her stomach. Her previously round stomach had deflated again. You're hungry again? Sima Yue looked at her strangely. It seemed like she was really hungry. How could she eat so much? Little Seven nodded and took out another piece of ginseng. She took a bite and frowned. Then, she stuffed the ginseng into Sima Yue's hand. Change. Sima Yue placed the dried meat in Little Seven's hand and patted her little head. Eat. Once you're full, you can go and see my master. She must agree to let you stay. Otherwise, you'll still have to go back to where you're staying. Little Seven tilted her head and thought for a while before nodding. When it was almost noon, Sima Yue felt movement in Su Jin's room. She put down the book in her hand and said, Master is awake. Let's go and see him. Little Seven jumped down from the chair and followed her out. Su Jin had just woken up when he felt Sima Yue coming. He didn't wait for her to knock and let her in. Seeing the 6 or 7-year-old child beside her, a trace of surprise flashed through his eyes. Why was she with this little fellow? Master, you're up so early. I'm a bit earlier than that fellow Kong Junshul. Su Jin said. Why did you bring this little fellow here? Master, this is Little Seven. We met her last night. She wants to live with us. Is that okay? Su Jin stared straight at Little Seven. This fellow actually dared to lie to his disciple? But when he saw her hiding behind Sima Yue and threatening him with cold eyes, as if she was saying that if he didn't agree, she would eat him up, he had the intention to tease her. Good disciple, not just anyone can live in our parting garden. After saying this, he raised his eyebrows at Little Seven. Little Seven pouted and looked like she was about to cry. She grabbed onto Sima Yue's hand even tighter. She even shrunk back, leaving only her head to look at him. Master, Little Seven is still a child. You can't scare a child like this. Sima Yue glared at Su Jin. Little Seven proudly lifted her chin at Su Jin from behind. Su Jin was speechless. How did he scare a child? He had only said a very normal sentence, okay? Master, Little Seven said that she often goes to the back of the mountain to look for food alone. There's no one to take care of her. Little Seven is still young, and the back of the mountain is very dangerous. Why don't we just let her stay here? Little Seven, you won't be mischievous in the courtyard, right? Sima Yue lowered her head to look at Little Seven. Little Seven immediately turned into a frightened child and nodded obediently. Su Jin saw that Sima Yue was so protective of her and felt a little jealous. He waved his hand to let them leave. It could be considered that he agreed with her. Thank you, Master. Then we won't disturb you. Don't think about it. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and left. Little Seven turned back to look at Su Jin when she was leaving. Her face was full of pride. Old fellow, don't lead my good disciple astray. Su Jin secretly transmitted his voice. That depends on whether I'm happy or not. Little Seven replied, and then left with Sima Yue. Chapter 647. Sima Yue didn't know about their secret conversation. After taking Xiaoqi downstairs, she went to find Su Xiaoxiao and told him that she wanted to clean up a room for Xiaoqi next door, where to put the things inside. Su Xiaoxiao immediately took the initiative to clean up the room. Sima Yue saw how enthusiastic he was and agreed to let him come along. Thus, Little Seven ate snacks at the door and watched the two of them tidy up her house. After the house was tidied up, Kong Junshul also got up. Regarding the addition of a child in the courtyard, he only said lightly, "Don't disturb my sleep in the courtyard." Stinky. Little Seven turned her head away from him. The corners of Kong Junshul's mouth twitched. He couldn't be bothered to lower himself to the child's level. So he turned around and went into the alchemy room. Sima Yue chuckled in the house. This little brat always called men stinky. She really despised them. She decorated the room in pink, and even the bedspread was pink. When little Seven saw this, her lips twitched when she wasn't paying attention. She waved at little Seven and little Seven walked over. She used her oily hands to wipe the clean bedsheets, and the clean bedsheets were stained. Seeing her masterpiece, she grinned. Sima Yue shook her head. You don't like this color? Little Seven nodded. What color do you like? Little Seven pointed at her clothes. The azure color was just right. Sima Yue patted her head and changed all the pink things. She changed the bedsheets and bedspread to azure blue. Only then did little Seven smile happily. After cleaning up, Sima Yue sat by the bed and pulled little Seven to sit beside her. She said, Little Seven, you have to be good when you're in the courtyard. Senior brothers and senior sisters are used to being quiet. We can't disturb them, okay? Little Seven nodded. There's a formation at the entrance of the courtyard. I'll teach you how to get out in a while. In the future, you won't need anyone to bring you out. I know that you often stay outside for a few days at a time. Take this. If you can't come back, you have to tell me, okay? She placed a mother-son stone in little Seven's hand. Little Seven looked at the mother-son stone and didn't know how to use it. Sima Yue taught her patiently. Do you know how to find me? Sima Yue asked. Little Seven nodded happily. She kept the mother-son stone in her space. Sima Yue saw that she wasn't wearing a space ring and thought that she had other space containers. Little Seven, I'm going to concoct pills. Be good and play in the house. Sima Yue said as she took out some food and placed it on the table. Okay. Little Seven became obedient when he saw the food. Wine. Kid, don't drink so much. Although she said that, she still took out a few jars of wine and then went to refine pills. Little Seven was sitting in the house eating when Su Jin swaggered in. Little Seven glanced at him and continued to eat. Little Yu is so good to you. I haven't eaten these before. Su Jin walked over and consciously picked up the snacks on the table. Old fellow, say it. Why are you following my precious disciple? Try calling me old fellow again. Little Seven opened her mouth, revealing 2 small canine teeth as she threatened. Even if you wear the clothes of a child, it can't hide your soul that has lived for thousands of years. Su Jin wouldn't be frightened by her and cruelly exposed her shortcomings. Little Yu thinks that it's enough that I'm a child. Little Seven didn't argue with him. You're pretending to be a child to trick people. Be careful that I don't expose you. Su Jin said fiercely. I've always been like this. Little Seven shrugged with an expression that said, Go ahead and say it. You came to the academy with such fanfare. Aren't you afraid that people will eat you? There have been quite a few people recently. Su Jin leaned on the chair and took a bite of a spirit fruit. That depends on whether they have the ability. Little Seven sneered. That's true. Those who have thoughts about you won't be able to survive. You can take care of them in one bite. Su Jin wasn't worried about this fellow at all. Little Seven rolled her eyes at him. She took out a snow-white meat and threw it to Su Jin. It looked a bit like a meat mushroom. Yu wants this. Little Seven said. Su Jin looked at such a big thing and said, You can't even bear to part with a fingernail. Now you're giving this much to him? You're really willing to part with it. I like it. Little Seven snorted. You're so good to my precious disciple, and even gave him so much of this. Tell me, what's your motive? Su Jin put away the thing. Why should I tell you? You don't want to live here anymore. Su Jin raised an eyebrow. Little Seven stared at him for a while before compromising. He can help me evolve. Help you evolve? You haven't evolved in a long time, right? Su Jin said. Little Seven nodded with a serious expression. It had been a long time since her last evolution. He's a human. How can he help you evolve? You won't eat him, right? Su Jin looked at her cautiously. If she really wanted to eat Yue, he wouldn't agree no matter what. I'm not eating him. I just feel very comfortable by his side. Little Seven said. This can help you evolve? Little Seven shook her head. Then why do you say that he can help you evolve? Intuition. Little Seven said. Intuition tells me that I can evolve by his side. I don't want him to know my identity right now. If you let it slip, I'll scratch your face and disfigure you. Soo-jin touched his face. I don't talk to people who are jealous of my beauty. After saying this, he stood up and left. Little Seven looked outside in a daze for a while before continuing to eat the food on the table. When Sima Yue came back from refining pills, she saw that Little Seven was still eating at the table. She walked over and carried her down, saying, You haven't been eating the entire time, right? Little Seven nodded. You're not full. It's delicious. Little Seven raised her head and smiled. These things were much better than the herbs she ate. Sima Yue took out a handkerchief to wipe the oil from the corner of her mouth, saying, You can't keep eating even if it's delicious. What if you get a stomachache? Oh. Although Little Seven still wanted to eat, she didn't want to make her unhappy. Yue, come up. Soo-jin shouted from his room. Do you want to come with me? Sima Yue asked. Little Seven came out from her embrace and shook her head. Then you stay here. I'll go up and see what Master wants. She pinched Little Seven's little nose and said. She came to Soo-jin's room and saw him lying on the chair, asking, Master, you're looking for me? I heard that you're looking for the Eye of the Earth? Soo-jin directly asked. Sima Yue was stunned. She didn't know how he knew, but Gulang and the others also knew that she was looking for it, so it wasn't surprising that he knew. Yes, she admitted. Soo-jin was very satisfied with her honesty. He took out a box and threw it in front of her, saying, Someone gave it to you. Sima Yue caught the box and opened it. She saw a palm-sized white meat inside. This is the Eye of the Earth, Soo-jin said calmly. Sima Yue almost forgot to breathe. Chapter 648. It was rare for Sima Yue to be dumbfounded. She was completely stunned. What are you waiting for? Isn't this what you want? Soo-jin asked. Master, where did you get this? Is that true? Sima Yue held the Earth's eye and could not react in time. Wasn't the Eye of the Earth the treasure of the Academy? Didn't they say that many people were eyeing this thing? Didn't they say that it was very hard to obtain? Why did she get it so easily? This couldn't be fake, right? Could it be that Soo-jin used this thing to scare her? Seeing Sima Yue's suspicious gaze, Soo-jin's eyelids twitched. This little brat actually didn't believe him. What I gave you is naturally real. Soo-jin saw that Sima Yue didn't believe him, and was still pretending to be innocent, and wanted to kick her. After hearing his promise, Sima Yue happily kept the Earth's eye. Master, where did you get this thing? She looked at Soo-jin with a smile, almost going to massage his legs and shoulders like a lackey. Someone gave it to me, Soo-jin said. Who gave it to you? Sima Yue asked. It's so expensive. Not just anyone can give it to you. Should we thank them? What's there to thank? That guy was completely willing, Soo-jin said. That's not good, is it? No matter what, he's still an important figure in the Academy. How can we just take his things? Don't worry about her, Soo-jin said impatiently. All right then. Sima Yue smiled. All right, you can leave. Soo-jin chased him away. Master. Sima Yue stood still. Anything else? Master, do you know Little Seven's identity? Sima Yue hesitated and asked. What is it? Little Seven looks like a little girl of a few years old, but her strength is stronger than mine. I once suspected that she was a transformed divine beast, but I didn't feel the aura of a divine beast from her body. Since he is a student of the school, I think Master should know. Sima Yue said. Yes, I do know, Soo-jin said. Then whose disciple is she under? Why would they often wander around the mountain range? Why is he so powerful? Don't worry about her identity. Just stay with her like this. He would know when it was time to know. That's right, that guy can't eat his fill. Give him more food. Don't worry about him bursting to death. Soo-jin said. All right, you may leave. Oh, all right then. She quickly went back. Although Soo-jin didn't say Little Seven's identity, since she said there was no problem, then there really wasn't a problem. Although she found Little Seven very likable, she was still guessing her identity in her heart. Previously, she thought that if she wasn't good, then she would have to spend some time with her to see her temperament. Now that Soo-jin said there was no problem, she could save this step. Thinking of little Seven, she also thought of little Tuesday. They were both gifted children. Whenever she saw little Seven, she would think of little Two from time to time. This was also one of the reasons why she liked little Seven. When she returned to the house, little Seven had already finished eating the food on the table. When she saw Sima Yue come in, she looked at her eagerly. You finished eating again. You can actually eat more than my little Meng. Sima Yue couldn't help but sigh. Who is little Meng? Little Seven asked curiously. There was actually someone who could eat as much as her? My contract beast. Sima Yue said. She's quite similar to you. She's also a little doll. I don't like her. Little Seven pouted. Little Seven, are you going to follow me in the future? Sima Yue suddenly asked. Little Seven nodded. If you want to follow me, then you have to accept the people around me. You don't have to like them, but you can't go against them. I don't like the people around me being unfriendly. If you can't do that, then you can't follow me. Sima Yue said solemnly. All right. Little Seven said helplessly. I promise I won't eat them. Sima Yue was amused by her words. She stretched out her hand and poked her forehead. She smiled and said, Why do you always say that you won't eat anything? Bad people should be eaten. Little Seven snorted and said, Many people who had ideas about me were eaten by me. But Grandpa doesn't let me eat them. But those people are so annoying. I really want to eat them, but I can't. Sigh, I'm so worried. Little Seven placed her hands on the table and looked conflicted. Sima Yue found it funny. Suddenly, her expression changed. She said to Little Seven, You stay here. I'll go out for a while. I'll go too. Little Seven stood up immediately. She seemed to want to go wherever Yue went. Little Seven, I'm going out to do something. I might fight with others. Be careful not to hurt you. Sima Yue said. Although I don't like fighting, others can't hurt me. Little Seven waved her little fist. Sima Yue saw her like that. Thinking that her martial arts were stronger than her, she nodded and took her out. When they went out, Su Jin shouted from upstairs. Xiao Xiao, someone bullied your little junior brother. What? Xiao Xiao was cleaning up the leftovers from his alchemy. When he heard this, he threw his things down and came out. Master, who dares to bully little junior brother? Ga! Han Miaoshuang's door opened. A certain someone stood at the door with his hands on his hips. He shouted, Who dares to bully my little Yu Yu? They had only known each other for a day, and this little junior brother had become little Yu Yu. You'll know when you see it, Su Jin said lazily. All right, let's go take a look. Han Miaoshuang stepped out and pulled Su Xiaoxiao's clothes out of the courtyard. Sima Yue and Little Seven ran towards Sima Yuming's place. Before they arrived, they heard a commotion coming from the courtyard. Along with it, there were sounds of fighting and yelling. Hearing the yelling from inside, she quickened her pace and pushed open the door to enter. Beat them to death. Go. Oh, I told you to bow down earlier, but you didn't listen. Now you're being beaten? You want to beat us? You're not qualified. Fatty Chu punched the other party's face. Fatty, beat them up. Beat them up hard. Bei Gong Tang stood at the side of the courtyard and shouted. What's so great about the Thunderbolt team? They dare to come to our place and behave atrociously. Beat them up. You dare to beat us up? Do you know the consequences of provoking us? I don't care if you're a Thunderbolt or not. Today we'll beat you up. Brothers, let's go together. This year's new students must teach them a lesson. Sima Yue entered and saw the chaotic situation. Whoosh! A person was thrown out by Fatty Chu, who happened to be flying towards Sima Yue's direction. She lifted her clothes and leaped up, kicking the person who was flying towards her back, smashing into the members of the Thunderbolt team. The chaotic situation calmed down because of this. Chapter 649. Everyone in the courtyard looked towards Sima Yue. When they saw her, the expressions of the Thunderbolt Society members changed drastically. Some of them were puzzled while Fatty Chu, and the rest were all very happy. Yue, you're here. Fatty Chu threw the person in his hand out and smiled at Sima Yue. You're Sima Yue? A black-clothed man with facial paralysis didn't make a move earlier. Now that he saw Sima Yue, he asked coldly, Who are you? Sima Yue walked over and kicked the person who was blocking her way. Bien Lezheng. Bien Lezheng crossed his arms and stared at Sima Yue coldly. Who is Bien Lezheng? Sima Yue looked at Bei Gongtang, one of the vice leaders of the Thunderbolt Society. He's ranked 100 on the billboard. Bei Gongtang said. Oh, so he's one of the vice captains. Sima Yue nodded. I've never heard of him. However, you really do look similar to the people in your club. I wonder how the people who were beaten up 2 days ago are doing now. When she saw Shui Rong and Ma Bojian, she stepped forward and cupped her hands in greeting. She smiled and asked, Why are you here? I heard that these people are here. I was afraid that they would cause trouble for your friend, so I came to check on the situation. I didn't think that they would actually fight. Shui Rong said. What's going on? Sima Yue looked at the crowd. They came to find trouble with us and wanted us to join their society. If we didn't join the society, they would beat us into joining. Wei Ziqi said. Let you guys join? Sima Yue was stunned. She then turned to look at Bien Lezheng. Are you guys out of your minds? Yu, they want us to join the group so that the group can take care of us. Fatty Chu said. They said it themselves. There are people who are forced to join the club. Sima Yue looked at the members of Thunderbolt Club. The Thunderbolt Society is the #1 society. Letting you in is giving you face. You refused a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. You even injured our people. How should we settle today's matter? Bien Lezheng looked at her. What else can we do? If you know what's good for you, scram. Otherwise, I'll beat you until you scram. Sima Yue said. Who do you think you are? How dare you order us around? The members of the Thunderbolt Club stood up and pointed at Sima Yue. I'm not ordering you guys. I'm asking you guys to leave. What could it be that you guys don't want to leave by yourselves, but rather be chased out by us? Bei Gongtang said. If you don't join a society, it will be very difficult for you to gain a foothold in the inner yard. You've offended us. Other than us, which society would dare to accept you? If it weren't for the fact that you're all professionals, do you think you'd still be here? A man said. Today's invitation is your chance. I don't want this kind of opportunity. Ma Bojian said. Today we came here to do something. Yue bro, are your friends willing to join our club? Join your club? That's right. Shui Rong said. We want to ask you, are you willing to join our Cliff Mountain Club? Shui Rong, is your Cliff Mountain going to fight with our Thunderbolt Club? Bien Lezheng looked at Shui Rong. So what? Shui Rong said indifferently. Bien Lezheng, you don't think that my Cliff Mountain is really afraid of you, do you? When your Cliff Mountain met our Thunderbolt Club, which time didn't you get beaten up? You still want to compete with us? You're really whimsical. The Thunderbolt Club members finished laughing. Now I wonder who's the one who got beaten up? Sima Yue glanced at them. We won't join your club. If you don't want to be beaten up too badly today, get out of here. Sima Yoshi shouted. The faces of the Thunderbolt Club members were ugly. But when they saw that Ma Bojian brought more people, they had to leave unwillingly. When the Thunderbolt Club members left, Ma Bojian waved his hand, and the Cliff Mountain Club members also left. Yue, why are you here? Sima Yulin asked. I know that the Thunderbolt Club members came to trouble you, so I came. I thought you would suffer, but I didn't expect Shui Rong to bring people over. Sima Yue waved her hand, and a few scarlet bees flew down from the roof, circled around and flew away. Bei Gongtang and the others knew that since the last time they left, she had sent scarlet bees to follow them. Little junior brother, who dares to bully you? We're here to help you. Han Miaoshuang came in from the outside and didn't see anyone bullying Sima Yue. She was stunned and asked, Little junior brother, where are the people who bullied you? They were beaten up by Cliff Mountain and left. Sima Yue replied, Senior sister, third senior brother, why are you here? Master said that someone bullied you, so we ran over to see. Since it's okay now, Xiao Xiao will go back. After speaking, the two left again. Yue, your master, senior sister and senior brother are very concerned about you. They're very nice people. Sima Yue said, Why are you all here? They just came out of closed-door cultivation. I heard about your situation and came to ask Bei Gong and the others. I didn't expect that the Thunderbolt Club members would come looking for me not long after I came back. Hey Yue, who's this little girl? She's called Little Seven from our courtyard. Sima Yue said. Everyone, let's go back to the house first. Sima Yuran said. That's true, let's not stand here. Vice Leader Ma, Miss Shui, please come in. Please. A group of people entered the house. Fortunately, the rooms here were bigger, otherwise they wouldn't be able to stand with so many people. Thank you for helping us out today, but I'm afraid that the Thunderbolt Club will find trouble with you. Sima Yuqi cupped his hands in thanks to Ma Bojian. We've always been at odds with the Thunderbolt Club. This matter doesn't make a difference. Shuirong said. But what we said before is true. Are you willing to join our team? This. Everyone hesitated. That Bian Lezheng usually doesn't say anything good, but today he said something right. In the inner sect, if you don't join a team, your life will be very difficult in the future. Shuirong said. The other freshmen have joined various teams in the past few months, and now you're the only ones who haven't. But because of the conflict with the Thunderbolt Club, other teams don't dare to accept you. Then aren't you afraid of Cliff Mountain? We've always been at odds with them. With or without you, this result won't change. Shuirong shrugged. Why must the inner sect join a team? Sima Yue never understood this question. Because the sect's cultivation resources are limited. If you want to obtain resources in a competitive environment, the best way is for everyone to work together. Over time, the cultivation resources will be divided by the teams. Those who are unwilling to join will have to compete with so many teams with their own strength. This possibility is too small. Chapter 650. It was only then that Sima Yu understood. She saw that everyone's expression seemed to be unwilling, so joining the team was probably not a good choice. Thank you for your invitation, Miss Shui and Cliff Mountain. However, we have been in the inner courtyard for so long, and have yet to join a society. So we have to reconsider this matter. Can we give you an answer in a few days? Sima Yuming said. Alright, then we'll head back first. Once you've made up your mind, just go to Rocky Mountain and find us. Shuirong stood up and saluted everyone before leaving with Ma Bojian. You guys don't want to join the club, Sima Yue said firmly. That's right. That's why we haven't joined any societies, even though we've been in the inner courtyard for so long. Wei Ziqi said. What's wrong with joining a club? We heard from the new students that they would be bullied by the older students after entering the club. They would do more work and get less points. Points? What's that? Yue, you've been in the inner courtyard for a few days. How come you still don't know anything? Fatty Chu teased. Points are what we usually use for cultivation. Bei Gongtang explained. No matter what we want to use, we have to use points to exchange for it. Yes. For example, if we use the cultivation pagoda now, 1 point a day, and 100 points can only be used to cultivate for 100 days. If we want to take medicinal ingredients from the academy, we also need to use points to exchange for them. Ouying Fei said. Then how do I get the points? Every student gets 5 points every month, and the rest depends on contribution. The more contributions one made, the more points one would receive. For example, concocting pills, refining tools, or catching spirit beasts for the academy. So if we join a club, we'll earn points together, but we won't be able to get much in the end? Sima Yue asked. Everyone nodded. I don't like that. Sima Yue said. It's because we saw that those teams were like this that we never joined. Sima Yulin said. Then don't join them, Sima Yue said. Ma Bojian and his people are nice. I don't think they will make things difficult for you. As for the other clubs, we're not even afraid of the Thunderbolt. So why should we be afraid of them? Yue, why don't we create our own club? Fatty Chu suddenly had an idea. Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard this. Yeah, we can also form our own club. Sima Yule said. In any case, we have so many people, and our strength is stronger than others. Furthermore, we have alchemists, armament masters, beast tamers, array masters. We can definitely form our own team. It's possible. Sima Yulin nodded. Third bro, what do you think? Sima Yu asked Sima Yuran. Actually, we're not much different from a team right now. Everyone cultivates together and accepts missions together. Sima Yuran said. The only thing we're lacking is a name. Hihi, why don't we set up a club? Fatty Chu said. I'll be in charge of refining armaments. I'm in charge of beast taming. I'll be in charge of the formation. Since everyone agrees, then it's decided. Sima Yula said. Sima Yua had been silent the whole time. She smiled when she saw how excited they were. But how are we going to set up this club? Is it troublesome? It's not troublesome at all. We just have to go to the teacher in charge of the club and file it. Wei Ziqi said. Set the time to set up the club. Name the club, leader's name, and the number of people in the beginning. We just have to confirm these. It's that simple. It's that simple. So what we have to do now is to think of a good name for the club. And who will be the leader? We just have to confirm the number of people in the beginning. Yu, why don't you be the leader? Fatty Chu said. Sima Yue shook her head, saying, No, anyone can be the leader. I don't want to. Why? Troublesome. Sima Yue said disdainfully. There will be a lot of things to do if I'm the leader. I don't want to deal with these things. Also, I'm not good at it. I'll just be a member. You can be the leader in name. Leave the things to others. Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yue still shook her head. No, I think it's best if Big Bro, Yulin or Ziqi is the leader. Since Fifth Bro doesn't want to, don't force her. Don't we know her personality? I think she's right as well. It's best if Big Bro, Yulin or Ziqi is the leader. The others can be vice leaders as well. That's true. This guy is the laziest. Bei Gongtang looked at Sima Yue and smiled. Actually, it doesn't matter who is the leader. We're all so familiar with each other. There's no need to say who's the leader. Sima Yue said. But it's like this now. In the future, when others join in, we'll need to manage. So we still need the leader and vice leader to lead everyone. I think Big Bro Yuqi should be the leader. Ouyang Fei said. Yulin and Ziqi will be vice leaders. I agree. Sima Yue was the first to express her opinion. We agree as well. The minority obeys the majority. There are many who agree, so it's decided. Sima Yuqi and Sima Yulin had yet to speak when they were pushed to the position of leader and vice leader. Now that the leader has been decided, let's discuss the name of the club. Fatty Chu said. What should we be called? It definitely has to be more domineering than Thunderbolt. Sima Yue said. Thunderbolt Club, how about that? Wei Ziqi voiced his opinion. Thunderbolt? Not bad, domineering. Okay. Anyway, I can't think of a good name. I think it's not bad too. Let's call it that. Everyone wasn't good at coming up with names. Thunderbolt was indeed domineering, so they were too lazy to think of anything else. Now we just need to confirm the number of people in the beginning. Is it just the few of us? Everyone in the sect has joined a club? Sima Yue asked. Not necessarily. Sima Yulin said. Some people have a temper. There are also people who haven't joined a club. Some clubs can't be maintained, and after disbanding, the remaining people might not have joined other clubs. There are also people in the top 50 of the billboard who haven't joined a club because they have resources provided by the sect. We'll talk about those people later. For now, it's just the 10 of us. Sima Yue said. Humph. Little Seven was originally nestled in her embrace. When she heard the number, she snorted coldly. Sima Yue lowered her head and saw Little Seven pouting. She laughed and stretched out her hand to ruffle her hair, saying, MM11. Our Little Seven is also one. Which department does Little Seven belong to? Sima Yulin looked at Little Seven and felt that she was a little strange. Little Seven turned her head to the side. Let's write the alchemy department. Sima Yue said. Little Seven, you'll be part of our team in the future? Yue, what about Little Two? When Sima Yue heard Little Two's name, the smile on her face slowly disappeared. Chapter 651. Little Two isn't in the inner courtyard right now. Sima Yue said. Not in the inner courtyard? Everyone was shocked. Didn't he come to the inner court a long time ago? If he's not in the inner court, then where is he? Don't worry, listen to me. Sima Yue said. Something happened to Little Two. and he was taken away by the vice principal. What happened? Little Two's bloodline power was activated all of a sudden. His body couldn't take it but Little Two's aura is still there, which means that his life is not in danger. Sima Yue said. Where is Little Two now? Sima Yue shook her head. Director Mao said he didn't know either. We'll find a way to find out more about him after we're done with our current work. I think that since he was taken away by a vice principal of the academy, and his life is not in danger, I think that he should not be in any danger now. Wei Ziqi said. What Ziqi said makes sense. I hope so, Bei Gongtang said. Then the matter of establishing the team will be settled like this. Big bro, find some time to go to teacher's place to prepare the case. Then, go and inform Shui Rong and the others, in case they are still waiting for us. Sima Yuran said. Okay. Sima Yuqi replied. Then I won't care about the club anymore. Sima Yue said. I might have to go out in a few days. You just came to the inner court. What are you going out for? I've already obtained the Earth's Eye. I'm going to go out and discuss with Mr. Ge. Then, I'll get Feng to come over and settle this matter for him. Sima Yue said with a smile. What? You've already obtained the Eye of Earth. Everyone cried out and looked at her in disbelief. We've been in the inner court for months, but we haven't found any information about the Eye of the Earth. You've only been here for a few days, and you've already obtained it? This is too unbelievable. Sima Yue also felt that she was lucky and said, Actually, I didn't find this. My master gave it to me. Master? Teacher Su? Yes. Sima Yue said. He said that someone gave it to him. Although I think this reason is a little far-fetched, I don't want to find out how he got it now. Anyway, it's good that he can save Feng. That's great. Once your brother is cured, you'll have accomplished something big. Fatty Chu said with a smile. Yes. Sima Yue agreed. Right now, her top priority was to solve Feng's problem. As for revenge, she needed to be well prepared later on. It was not something that could be done in a short time. Once Feng was cured, she would be able to cultivate in peace. When do you plan to go out? Sima Yuming asked. In a few days, let's talk about it after we've settled the matters of the club, Sima Yue said. And Feng isn't in Tianfu City right now. I have to contact him to come back. Thinking that Shiman Feng was about to break free from the control of that power, her mood was exceptionally good. When the others saw this, they were also happy for her. After chatting with them for a while, she left with Little Seven. This time, she was in a good mood and wandered around the sect. Little Seven, do you know the sect well? Sima Yue asked. Little Seven nodded, then shook her head. What do you mean by nodding and shaking your head? Sima Yue looked at her funny. I'm very clear about the terrain here, but I'm not sure about those people. Little Seven said. After she formed, she often ran around the sect, so she knew every place in the sect. But she didn't like to interact with others, and didn't care about those people. Occasionally, she would hear some things from them, but she didn't know them. Let's go take a look at the sect's cultivation pagoda, Sima Yue said as she patted her head. Okay, I know where it is. I'll take you there. Little Seven pulled Sima Yue's hand, and brought her through the biggest square in the inner sect. They came to the back of a library, and a pagoda that wasn't very tall appeared in front of her. This pagoda has 3 floors below and 7 floors above. Most people cultivate from the 1st to the 4th floor. Little Seven said. What about the bottom 2 floors and the top? No one cultivates there? Yes, I heard that those with good talent are at the top, and those with great power are at the bottom. But I've never seen it before, so I don't know. Little Seven said. Then which floor does Little Seven usually cultivate on? I won't come to this kind of place to cultivate. Little Seven said proudly. Hee. Sima Yue wasn't surprised by Little Seven's words. Little Seven's power wasn't something that could be achieved through ordinary cultivation. Let's go back. She looked at the students walking around, and didn't plan to go in to cultivate. She turned around, and saw a group of people walking over, blocking her way. She didn't know the others, but she had a deep impression of Xiao Qi who was hiding at the back. It seemed like the people from the Thunderbolt Society hadn't given up yet. You're Sima Yue? The leader of the group said. Sima Yue crossed her arms in front of her chest and said casually, "Why, Xiaoqi? Haven't you learned from what happened last time? Sima Yue, you hurt my people from the Thunderbolt Society. And you want to let it go just like that?" Xiaoqi brought a lot of people with him this time. And he wasn't afraid of hiding at the back anymore. "So, I don't want to continue being entangled with you guys. Find someone who can handle things, and we'll settle it once and for all." Sima Yue said. "You're quite arrogant." The person standing in the middle laughed coldly. "It's not about arrogance, it's about how annoying you guys are." Sima Yue said. "You guys come in groups, and I don't want to waste my time with you guys. Be straightforward, find someone who can talk. How do you want to settle it?" A rough male voice came from the entrance of the cultivation pagoda, and the members of the Thunderbolt Society greeted him respectfully as their leader. Sima Yue looked at the figure that was comparable to Xiao Zhao's and clicked her tongue, saying, "It's not about how I want to settle it. It's you guys who keep bothering me. Think of a solution and let's discuss it. Don't bother me in the future, before I get completely angry. You crippled our people, it's easy to settle it. You just have to castrate yourself." The leader of the Thunderbolt Society, Lu Yuanming, said. "You know, that's impossible." Sima Yue said. "She didn't even have it, let alone whether she was willing or not. How could she castrate herself?" "Then kill yourself," Lu Mingyuan said. "That's even more impossible." Sima Yue rejected without hesitation. She hadn't lived long enough. How could she kill herself? "Then what do you think we should do?" Lu Mingyuan said. "It's actually very simple. Let's fight, and if you win, I'll listen to you. If I win, you get your people out of my sight." Sima Yue pointed at Lu Mingyuan and said. Chapter 652. Hearing her words, the square immediately quieted down. Then, everyone present started shouting. A new student who had just arrived a few days ago was going to fight against the leader of the Thunderbolt Regiment, Lu Mingyuan. This news was too shocking for them. "What do you think? Do you dare to accept my challenge?" Sima Yue lifted her chin and looked at Lu Mingyuan. Lu Mingyuan looked at Sima Yue. He did not expect to be provoked by a junior. If he didn't accept her challenge today, then how would he survive in the inner court in the future? He snorted coldly. "You dare to challenge me? You've got guts." "Thanks for the compliment. I've always been brave," Sima Yue said. "So do you dare to accept the challenge?" "Why wouldn't I? There are so many people here, just nice to be witnesses. As long as you win, our Thunderbolt will no longer find trouble with you. If you lose, then obediently come with us today, and tell Su Jin not to find trouble with us. Deal?" Sima Yue said. "Let's go to the arena." Once Lu Mingyuan left, the members of the Thunderbolt squad followed him. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and followed them to the arena. The people in the square were in an uproar. How many years had it been since a new student challenged a senior student? Who would have thought that they would actually meet him today? "Let's go and watch the show." "Hee. I'll go inform the people cultivating in the pagoda." "Wait for me. Then go quickly. Don't be late. Tell me, where did this new student get the guts to fight Lu Mingyuan? Don't underestimate this brat. Before he came to the academy, he castrated Hong Fei's disciple, and then beat up all those people who went to catch him. I think he must be walking the path of body refinement. Such an arrogant freshman." "That's right. Humph. Do you think you're invincible in the inner court just because you've beaten up a few people? Since she dares to provoke the older students like this, it won't do if we don't give her a good beating today. Hee, if she loses, I'm afraid it won't be just a matter of being beaten up. She has an agreement with Lu Mingyuan. Go, let's go and watch." In the cultivation pagoda, many people paused their cultivation when they heard that Sima Yue challenged Lu Mingyuan and went to the arena to watch the excitement. In a few rooms on the third floor, some people were disturbed by the movements below. Thinking that they had been cultivating for so long, they came out together. As for Sima Yuming and the others' courtyard, Tuoba Yen Air hurriedly ran back and said to Bei Gong Tang and Wei Ziqi, who were talking in the courtyard, "Quickly go to the arena. Yu and Lu Mingyuan are going to duel." Bei Gongtang and Wei Ziqi were not as flustered as Tuoba Yin Er expected. Instead, they looked at her calmly and asked, You fought with someone? Don't worry, she won't do anything she's not confident in. Let's go and have a look. Wei Ziqi went in to inform the others. When everyone heard that Sima Yu was going to duel with Lu Mingyuan, no one was worried about her. Instead, they were all very interested. Yue is up against Thunderbolt's leader? Looks like she's planning to settle this once and for all. It should be. Let's go take a look. I wonder how badly Yue will beat him up. Just take a look and you'll know. Tuoba Yin Er saw how calm they were and said in shock. Aren't you worried about her? He's an expert ranked 60th on the Wind Cloud leaderboard. 60th place? How strong is he? An advanced spiritual grandmaster. Then there's nothing to worry about. Yin Er, let's go take a look together. Bei Gongtang said with a smile. Seeing how calm they were, Tuoba Yin Er's worries disappeared. Sima Yue must have found a way to deal with them. When they arrived at the arena was already filled with onlookers. Sima Yue and Lu Mingyuan were standing opposite each other in the middle. As soon as they found their seats, they heard the people around them discussing Sima Yue. Look, that freshman's rank isn't displayed. They must have used some method to cover it up. Although it's rare, it's still very rare. That Lu Mingyuan is an advanced divine overlord expert. That freshman looks very young. No matter what, she can't be his opponent. That's not necessarily true. A voice behind the two questioned. I think that this brat might be able to win. Everyone turned around and saw Tang Yin sitting in his seat. He was holding a fan and pretending to fan himself. He had a smirk on his face. Mo Bin sat beside him and did not comment on what he just said. Tang Yin, do you think that freshman will win? The person who spoke just now asked. I only said that it's possible. Tang Yin said. Tang Yin, you guys are always in closed-door cultivation. That's why you don't understand the current situation of the academy. That Lu Mingyuan is only one step away from breaking through Divine Overlord and becoming a Divine Emperor. This Sima Yue is a freshman who just entered the inner sect recently. I heard that she also entered the academy this year. She looks very young. How can she be stronger than Lu Mingyuan? Looking at her age, I'm afraid that she hasn't even broken through Divine King. You don't trust my judgment. Tang Yin said. It's just that what you said is too impossible. I believe that she can do it. Tang Yin did not care about what these people thought. The two on the stage were his main focus. Sima Yue looked at Lu Mingyuan and said, Make your move. Remember that if you lose, don't let your people appear in front of me again. Arrogant brat. Today, I'll make you obediently follow me. Lu Mingyuan said as he began to condense his spirit energy. A fire whip quickly formed in his hand. Sima Yue's movements were not slow either. Her raging flame slash had already been used to perfection. When the fire whip came, she immediately slashed down with her blade, cutting the fire whip in two. One half was held in Lu Mingyuan's hand, while the other half fell to the ground and dissipated. You're a high-level divine overlord. Lu Mingyuan looked at Sima Yue, who easily cut his fire whip in half, and said in a low voice, That's right. Otherwise, how would I dare to stand here with you? Sima Yue waved the large blade in her hand. Young people aren't just impulsive. I didn't think that your strength would be on par with mine. It's a pity that you think you can beat me like this. Brat, next time before you make a decision, you better understand your opponent well. Although Lu Mingyuan was shocked by Sima Yue's strength, he had never met an expert of the same level. He shook his fire whip, and it turned into tens of small blades, shooting towards Sima Yue. He immediately followed the fire blades and laughed. I'm not an ordinary spirit master. Other than spirit masters, I also walk the path of body refinement. Today, you've met me. You're definitely going to lose. He saw that Sima Yue easily blocked his fire blades without any reaction. These blades were just a cover for him. He punched towards Sima Yue's stomach. However, he was forced to stop when he was a few centimeters away. Chapter 653. Lu Mingyuan looked at the small hand that was holding his fist. He looked up and saw her smiling eyes. I'll return your words back to you. Next time, you better understand your opponent before you make a decision. I'm not an ordinary soul master. Other than soul master, I'm also a physique refiner. Today, you're definitely going to lose. Sima Yue said with a smile. She then used her strength to twist Lu Mingyuan's hand around. Then, she waved her right hand and punched him, knocking him to the ground. Sima Yue immediately followed up. Unexpectedly, the other party was not slow either. Although he took a punch, he quickly turned over and dodged Sima Yue's next kick. At the same time he stood up. The two of them once again faced each other. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Sima Yue cautiously. He didn't expect that he would be defeated so miserably in this round. Not only was her strength equal to his, she also walked the path of body refinement. Moreover, she was better than him. His advantages were useless in front of her. The people in the audience were also stunned by this result. She actually injured Lu Mingyuan? The way many people looked at her changed. At this moment in their eyes, she was no longer a freshman, but a strong opponent. Residential area, come out. Lu Mingyuan snorted and considered Sima Yue to be on the same level as him. He did not intend to hide his strength. Since he could not defeat her quickly with his spiritual power and physical strength, he would use his partner. Hiss hiss. A huge python appeared in the arena, occupying almost the entire arena. Its bucket-thick body stood beside Lu Mingyuan. One man and one beast were quite compatible. A third-level sacred beast was considered a rare contract beast among ordinary people. Do you think that you're the only one with a sacred beast? Seeing Lu Mingyuan's proud look, Fatty Chu and the others on the viewing platform said contemptuously. Tang Yin glanced at Fatty Chu. Although he didn't recognize Fatty Chu, he recognized Sima Yuran and the others beside him. It seemed that this group of people were with him. Chongming, come out and play with the little snake. After Sima Yue finished speaking, a Chongming bird appeared in everyone's sight. After Chongming came out, the python on the opposite side immediately shrank back in fear. Chongming, be careful. Don't let them kill you. Sima Yue said. Chongming flapped its wings, grabbed the python and took it into the air. Lu Mingyuan was stunned when he saw his python being taken away. Captain Lu, it's very dangerous to be in a daze at this time. Sima Yue reminded him kindly. If you have any other tricks, you'd better use them now. Otherwise, don't say that you didn't try your best later. Lu Mingyuan was choked by Sima Yue's words. He steeled his heart and called out another sacred beast. The last time he returned to the clan had secretly made him contract it. No one else knew about it. It was a preparation for his goal of rushing into the top 30 in the 3 great conventions. Who would have thought that he would be forced to reveal it in advance today? However, compared to exposing his strength, being defeated by a freshman in front of so many people was even more unbearable. This Lu Mingyuan actually has 2 sacred beasts. He hid them well in the past. Tang Yin commented as he waved his fan. Looks like he's preparing for the 3 great conventions. Emobin opened his mouth. I don't know what she'll do. It's not easy to deal with Lu Mingyuan and his sacred beasts alone. Tang Yin said. She's not panicking. Emobin looked at Sima Yue and believed that she had her own way. Sima Yue looked at the second sacred beast and smiled. 1,000 resonance, come and play with him. I'll say the same thing again. Don't kill him. 1,000 resonance came out with its 8 tails wide open. It did not give the opponent a chance to be surprised as it pounced forward. 6th Captain Lu, are there any more? Lu Mingyuan looked at the smile on Sima Yue's face and felt that it was extremely dazzling. He condensed his spirit energy and attacked her. Sima Yue flew forward, and the two of them fought from the ground to the air, and from the air back to the ground. It had to be said that Lu Mingyuan still had some fighting power. With the two of them attacking together, Sima Yue was unable to take him down. The audience was stunned by the dazzling battle between the two. The members of the Thunderbolt Club saw that she could actually fight with their captain for so long, and felt a chill in their hearts. It turned out that she had really been merciful to them before. Although the others saw that they were evenly matched, Lu Mingyuan knew that he was not having an easy time. He had already used all his strength, but the opponent was still holding back. Pung! Sima Yue kicked Lu Mingyuan's body, causing him to fall to the ground. When he got up, a long sword was already placed on his neck. You've lost. Lu Mingyuan unwillingly lowered his head, indicating that he had already admitted defeat. Then you must remember the agreement and restrain your members, Sima Yue said as she looked at the people below the stage. The members of the Thunderbolt Club subconsciously shrunk their necks when she glanced at them. They thought that the opponent was easy to bully, but they did not expect that she was someone they could only look up to. She took back Ling Long, turned and walked down the stage. At the same time when she stepped down, Lu Mingyuan's 2 sacred beasts were beaten to his side. There was no danger to their lives, but they looked very dispirited and were beaten badly by their opponents. Yu Yu, Bei Gong Tang, and the others had been waiting for her at the exit. I think the members of the Thunderbolt Club will not dare to trouble us openly. You have to be careful of what they do behind our backs. If we set up a club, the target will be bigger, Sima Yue said. Don't worry, with your battle today, they won't dare to do anything to us, Sima Yuqi said. Let's go back. I'm hungry. Little Seven didn't like so many people and grabbed Sima Yue's hand. Okay. Sima Yue lowered her head and smiled at her. We have been out for a long time. Our little Seven is hungry. Let's go back. Big brother, we will go back first. The matter of establishing the team will be handed over to you. Don't worry, Sima Yuqi said. Little Seven, let's go. We won today. Let's go back and make delicious food for Little Seven. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and nodded to everyone. The others also went out one after another, leaving some people behind thoughtfully. Did you see clearly just now? The child beside Sima Yue, is it really her? Tang Yen forgot to fan himself with the fan in his hand, and stared blankly at Sima Yue's back as she left. Emobin also felt a little unbelievable, but he nodded affirmatively. You didn't see wrong, it is her. How did Little Seven get together with Sima Yue? And it seems that Sima Yue doesn't know Little Seven's identity. She doesn't know now, but she will know soon, Emobin said. I believe that the 3 conventions will be very exciting soon. Chapter 654. However, this liveliness was blocked outside the Parting Garden's array. The moment they entered the Parting Garden, all they saw was a quiet courtyard. You're back. Su Jin was fiddling with herbs in the courtyard. When he heard the footsteps of the 2, he didn't even raise his head to ask. Master. Sima Yue bowed to Su Jin. Is it done? Su Jin put down the medicinal ingredients and asked. Yes, it's settled. Sima Yue walked over and saw Su Jin's herbs. She said, Master, some of your herbs are not ripe yet. I can see it. Su Jin glanced at her. But you know, some herbs are best used when they are not ripe. When I'm not mature. Su Jin picked up a green peach-like fruit and said, Look at this Bodhi peach. After it ripens, it can be used to refine restriction-breaking pills and so on. It has a wide range of uses. Even if it's taken directly, it can clear one's heart and guard one's nature, increasing one's divine sense cultivation. But do you know that if this thing is picked before it's ripe, its medicinal properties will be the opposite, and it can confuse a person's mind? I didn't know it had such an effect. Sima Yue took the Bodhi peach, looked at it and smelled it. Indeed, it did not have the comfortable fragrance of a ripe peach. Instead, it had a slightly bitter taste. That's not all, Su Jin said with a smile. Among these medicinal herbs, some of them have better effects when they're not mature, some of them have opposite effects, and some of them are similar, so you'll have to spend some effort to understand them. Things in this world will always pop up when we think we understand them. Sima Yue nodded and agreed with Su Jin. This world was vast, and no one could say that they had everything under their control. I'm hungry. Little Seven pulled Sima Yue's hand. Little Seven is playing with Master in the courtyard. I'll go make some food for you, okay? Although Little Seven didn't want to be with Su Jin, seeing how Sima Yue treated her like a child, in order to not make her suspicious, she could only nod obediently. Sima Yue walked a few steps before she realized that there was no kitchen. She took a detour and went to the backyard. The open space there is large. Su Jin waited for Sima Yue to leave before he continued to fiddle with his herbs. Little Seven walked over and stuffed a herb into her mouth. She even commented, "These things of yours are all so low grade. Eat one of mine. You have to pay me back." Su Jin stretched out his hand. "I know you have a lot of radishes. Just give me 2 of them. In your dreams, those are my food." Little Seven wouldn't give her things to Su Jin. "You humans are all like this. Only a silly person like you wouldn't want my radish." "That can't be. She's so silly. Your radish is a good thing and she doesn't want it." Su Jin felt sorry for Sima Yue. This fellow should have more radishes, as much as she could. "Humph, look at you. My Yu is a good person. She doesn't want these things." Little Seven looked at Su Jin with disdain. Su Jin automatically ignored her disdain. "My silly disciple really didn't want your radish. Could it be that you said you would give her radish, and she really took it as a radish? How can that be?" Little Seven looked at him as if he was a fool. "I put the radish in her hands 2 or 3 times. She didn't want it and gave it back to me." Su Jin touched his chin and pondered. "It seems that my silly disciple is really too silly. I have to teach her properly when I go back. Really? I don't know how Old Man Devil taught her before. She's actually so silly. She doesn't even know how to take good things." "You don't have that ability." Little Seven snorted. "You plan to follow her until Old Man comes back. You still dare to stay here?" Su Jin looked at Little Seven provocatively. "Why wouldn't I dare?" Although Little Seven said this, she still didn't have enough confidence. "I say, if you don't stay in the place they prepared for you, if you get caught and eaten, you won't even have time to cry." Su Jin reminded her. "This is the school. Who can catch me?" Little Seven didn't listen to his words. She took a bite of the herb and spat it on the ground. "Why does it taste so bad? Who told you to eat it directly?" Su Jin's heart ached for his own herbs. This fellow was too wasteful. "If I don't eat it like this, how can I eat it?" Little Seven threw the rest of the herbs into Su Jin's arms. "You eat these herbs just to absorb the medicinal properties inside to increase your strength. It's not like you're really going to eat them." Su Jin said. "Since it's like this, haven't you thought about refining them into pills? After refining them, they won't taste that bad." "It can be like this." Little Seven's eyes lit up. "These things are too bad, but I have to eat them. Every time I eat them, I feel pain. Although you use cooking is good, it can't satisfy my needs. If I can refine them into pills, it'll be better. It's like this when you're stupid. When you transformed into a little doll. Why didn't you transform yourself to be smarter?" Su Jin teased. "Tsk." Little Seven bared her teeth at him and threatened. "Do you believe that I'll eat you? You can try." Su Jin wasn't afraid at all. "Humph. Wait until that old fellow comes back. Let's see if you can still be so cocky." "I'm fine. At most, he'll scold me a little when he comes back. But you're wandering around without your original body. I think you'll be taught a lesson. Let's wait and see. I'll go find you to make me eat the pills." Little Seven ran towards the backyard after she finished speaking. Sima Yue was cooking while Han Miaoshuang watched with shining eyes. When Yue started cooking, she smelled the fragrance. Then her legs didn't listen to her and ran over with her. What did Little Seven say to Master? "Wait a little longer. It'll be done soon." Sima Yue waved at Little Seven. Han Miaoshuang smiled and teased. "Little junior brother, you treat Little Seven better than the rest of us." Sima Yue wasn't angry. She smiled. "You're all adults. Little Seven is still a child. Why are you jealous of a child? If you like it, I'll give you a big jar later. You can drink it slowly." Little Seven walked over and sat beside Han Miaoshuang. "I'll give you a big jar of vinegar. You two are in cahoots." Han Miaoshuang looked at Little Seven. She felt that she wasn't as simple as a child. But looking at Sima Yue, she seemed to trust her. Little Seven seemed to like it when Han Miaoshuang tied her and Sima Yue together. She wasn't angry and just smiled. Chapter 655. The two of them, one big and one small, ate until they were full and satisfied. After Han Miaoshuang finished eating, she went to refine pills. leaving Sima Yue and Little Seven to chat while packing up. Can you refine my radish into pills? Little Seven asked. Your radish? Sima Yue was stunned and immediately understood that she was talking about her medicinal herbs. She asked, what are you refining them for? If you want to refine pills, you need to match it with other herbs. I want to eat radishes, but radishes don't taste good. Sue, your master said that he can refine them into pills, so I don't have to eat them directly. Little Seven said. You won't feel hungry after eating those herbs, right? Sima Yue asked. Little Seven nodded. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven. Her gaze made the latter lower her head guiltily. After a while, Yue's voice was heard. I can help you refine the herbs into pills, Sima Yue said. But it's too late today, how about tomorrow? All right. Little Seven nodded and smiled happily. The next morning, just as Sima Yue came out from her cultivation state, she heard Little Seven knocking on the door. After getting a response, she pushed the door open and pulled her to the pill refining room. Sima Yue arrived at the alchemy room and saw the mountain of herbs on the table. Her mouth twitched as she asked Little Seven, These are all yours? Little Seven nodded. Other than the radish and some grass, you can refine them all for me. How long will this last you? Little Seven tilted her head and thought for a moment before saying, 10 days. 10 days? You want to eat so many medicinal herbs in 10 days? Sima Yue looked at Little Seven in shock. She really wanted to see how Little Seven's body did not explode after absorbing so much medicinal power. I still have a lot of radishes, but I thought that you would be tired after refining so many, so I took these out, Little Seven said. Sima Yue suddenly felt a little bitter. She had to refine so many herbs for her every 10 days? I don't want to eat so much, but I'm hungry. Little Seven lowered her head, feeling wronged. Sima Yue suddenly felt that she had sinned. She quickly patted her head and said, It's okay. This isn't alchemy. There's no need to fuse those things. It's not that troublesome. It shouldn't take much time. Little Seven raised her head. The grievance on her face disappeared and was replaced by a smile. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. She thought that her eyes must have been playing tricks on her. All right, I'll refine the pill for you. You can go out and play. I'll watch. As Little Seven spoke, she took out a chair from somewhere and sat down in the corner of the alchemy room. She placed her legs on the crossbar of the chair and rested her hands on her knees. She watched Sima Yue busy herself. Sima Yue ignored her and started to process the herbs for her. She also knew that if these medicinal herbs were eaten directly, the medicinal taste would be stronger and bitter. It would not taste good. Refining the essence and making pills was much better than eating the herbs directly. Little Seven gave her a lot of herbs, and they were all very precious. Luckily, she was very familiar with refining herbs. By noon, she had finished refining all the herbs and even made them into pills. She kept all of them in a jade bottle. While she was refining, Little Seven maintained her posture and looked at her. When she saw that she was done, she jumped down from the chair and threw a pill into her mouth. It's the taste of one of my radishes, but it doesn't taste bitter anymore. Little Seven said happily. I added some scarlet honey in when I was refining, so it has a hint of sweetness. Sima Yue said, Keep these pills well. You can eat these when I don't have time to cook for you. N. Little Seven nodded happily and ate another one. These pills are different from other herbs. Every pill has a strong medicinal effect. You have to know your limits. Don't eat too many at once. Yue gave her all the pills and reminded her. Little Seven nodded and kept all the pills away. Sima Yue and the others moved quickly. The next day, they went to the teacher in charge of the club to register. The Thunder Club was born just like that. Seeing the name list that Sima Yue handed in, Little Seven's name was written at the end. The teacher's face flashed with surprise and asked, Is Little Seven a little girl? Yes, teacher. Sima Yue replied. The teacher suppressed the surprise in his heart and said calmly, All right, it has been noted. Your club is established today. The leader is Sima Yue. If there is a change in leader in the future, just come and register it. Yes, thank you, teacher. Sima Yue and Wei Ziqi bowed and left the office. The teacher lowered his head and looked at the member list again. He said faintly, "This little 7 came out to be naughty again." The other clubs soon knew about their establishment. Cliff Mountain sent Shui Rong and Ma Bo Jian to congratulate them. The other clubs did not express anything. Shui Rong asked about their member list and found out that they only had 11 people. But half of them were professional masters. She sighed. She didn't know if their lineup was strong or weak. Not long after Shui Rong went back, the Thunder Club's member list was spread out. Most people were not interested in their members. Only those who were at the top of the billboard would be surprised. "Mo Bin, is this little 7 that little 7? Tang Yin looked at the list in his hand and said, "It should be her." Mo Bin said, "I don't know how the others will react when they see this news. I'm really looking forward to it," Tang Yin said with a smile. "Ehe, if they know that little 7 has appeared again and joined a new club, I don't know if they will swarm over like a swarm of bees. Anyway, the 3 big meetings are about to start. Those guys should come out one after another. At that time, there will be a show to watch. What about you? Do you want to go?" Mo Bin looked at Tang Yin. "We have always been together. If you go, I will go." Tang Yin opened his big fan and winked at Mo Bin. "Are your eyes cramping again?" Mo Bin rolled his eyes. Tang Yin's eyes turned into anger. Seeing that Mo Bin still had no reaction, he could only retract his gaze. "You're not really going, are you?" "Why not?" Mo Bin asked back. "That's true. With little 7, you will definitely go," Tang Yin said. "The 3 people in front of you will go too. It's just that it's not certain whether they will join or not. Only little 7 alone is enough to attract people." Mo Bin sighed. "But this team's strength is not weak. There is Sima Yue who is stronger than Lu Mingyuan. There are 2 alchemists, 1 array master, 1 beast tamer, 1 weapon refiner, and little 7. This team TSK Tisk, you forgot. Sima Yue is also an alchemist. She is also the most dazzling freshman in the new student assessment," Mo Bin reminded. Chapter 656. During the alchemist examination, Sima Yue had used a variety of refining methods to refine a 6th grade elixir in 3.5 hours. This incident had once caused a frenzy in the inner yard. Especially the alchemists, all of them wanted to meet her. However, before she could report to the inner court, she had taken a year's leave. Later on, when she arrived at the inner court, she appeared in front of everyone with her powerful strength, causing everyone to forget that she had refined pills before. Tang Yin slapped his head. "That's right, other than those 2 alchemists, there is also Sima Yue, an even more powerful alchemist. What do you think is the origin of this group of new students? They have so many professional masters in their early days, and they even cover so many different fields. They are all her relatives and friends," Mo Bin said. "So I'm even more curious about what kind of environment they grew up in. I think the people in the top 50 should know little 7. After all, they were all there. That's why those societies don't dare to provoke Thunderbolt. Not to mention that her battle today will make people wary of her. Just with little 7 here, the leaders of the other societies will have to warn their subordinates not to provoke them. Smart people won't look down on her, just because her club has fewer members now. I heard that Madman is coming back. When he finds out about Sima Yue, there will be a lot of fun. That depends on whether little 7 is by her side or not. Just wait and see." Just like Mo Bin and Tang Yin, the leaders of the various clubs were also surprised. Originally, when they found out that a small club had been established, they wanted to show off their might. However, after seeing little 7's name, they all fell silent. In the end, they only ordered one sentence: "Don't cause trouble for them." After Shui Rong left, Sima Yuqi and the others kept waiting for the other teams to come and find trouble. However, after waiting for an entire day, no one came, causing everyone to be extremely puzzled. But they didn't think that it was related to little 7. Sima Yue spent a few quiet days in the parting garden. She had already contacted Shimen Feng and was preparing to ask for leave. Su Jin was a person with a big temper, but his temper would bring a lot of convenience to his disciples. For example, If she wanted to apply for leave, she didn't need to look for Director Mao at all. She could just come out with Su Jin's token. She left the building area of the inner yard and headed east. She passed through a mountain range and arrived at a teleportation formation. There was only one pavilion, and there were 2 people guarding it. When they saw Sima Yue coming over, they asked, "Are you going out?" "Yes." "Leave slip." "No. She was interrupted before she could finish her sentence. "You can't go out without a leave slip. Today isn't the day to go out." Go back, go back. Sima Yue took out Su Jin's token and handed it over, saying, "I have this." The person who spoke took the token and looked at it, saying, "Su Jin's token. Are you his disciple?" "Yes." "Identity token." That person stretched out his hand. Sima Yue was stunned for a moment before she realized that he wanted her token. She quickly took it out and handed it over. The man took the tokens and placed them on his forehead. After confirming her identity, he returned the 2 tokens to her. "Go." "Thank you." Sima Yue stood on the teleportation formation. That person immediately activated the formation. Very quickly, she appeared on the teleportation formation of the outer yard. The teleportation formation connecting the outer yard and the inner yard was in a small courtyard beside the formation department. Usually, there was only one person guarding it. When he saw the formation light up, the guard was curious. Who could come out when it wasn't a holiday? One had to know that in the inner yard, as long as it wasn't a mission, it was very difficult to ask for leave. And when they went out for a mission, they usually wouldn't go through the outer yard. When he saw the person on the teleportation formation, the guard was relieved. So it was Su Jin's disciple. No wonder he could come out as he pleased. Sima Yue bowed slightly to that person, and then left the courtyard. She had lived in the outer courtyard for 2 years, but she wasn't familiar with this place at all. In those 2 years, besides going to the demon world and staying there for nearly a year, the rest of the time, if she wasn't cultivating, she was immersed in researching information for the matter of Shimen Feng. She rarely walked around campus. She asked 2 students before she found the area she was familiar with. When she saw Gulang's office, she couldn't help but sigh. Thinking back, she said that she would find time to come to the formation department to listen to a class, but she didn't. So she couldn't find the way to her previous place. Gulang wasn't in the office. He went to teach a class. Sima Yue waited downstairs for a while and saw him walking over with a group of students. Some of them were from the previous research group, and some of them she didn't know. Seeing Sima Yue, some of the students greeted her. She also smiled and responded to them one by one. Gulang handed the book in his hand to the person next to him and ordered, "You guys go up and wait for me." "Yes, teacher." The students went around her and went upstairs. Gulang walked over and asked, "Why did you come out today?" "Teacher Gu, I got the Earth's Eye," Sima Yue said somewhat excitedly. "What did you say?" Gulang suspected that he heard wrong and looked at her in surprise. "It's true," Sima Yue said now. Gulang looked around and made sure that there was no one around. He then grabbed her hand excitedly. "How did you get that thing so quickly?" "Master gave it to me. He said that someone gave it to him," Sima Yue said. Seeing Gulang's stunned expression, she continued, "I also think that Master's words are a little unreliable. But no matter how he got it, it's in my hands now." "Then why are you here today?" "I've already informed Feng, to come back. He should be at home now. I'm here today to invite Teacher Gu to go with me," Sima Yue said. "I wonder if Teacher Gu is willing to come with me? You want to go with me?" Gulang didn't expect Sima Yue to invite him. Sima Yue nodded. "Teacher Gu, you were the one who thought of this method. Don't you want to see the results? Moreover, I think that with Teacher Gu by my side, it'll be easier to deal with any situation." "All right then. Wait for a while. I'll ask the students to go back," Gulang said. "Teacher Gu, there's no hurry. I'm here today to inform you that it'll officially start tomorrow," Sima Yue said. "You can come to my house tomorrow." "All right, when will you start?" 1:00 in the afternoon, Sima Yue said. "All right, 1:00 tomorrow afternoon. I'll be there on time. Then I'll go back first." We'll treat Feng together tomorrow. I won't waste teacher Ji's time now. Sima Yue waved at Gulang and left. After leaving the school, she went straight home. Before she knocked on the door was opened. Yue, you're back? We were just about to contact you. Bei Gongheng looked at Sima Yue and grabbed her hand. What happened? Something happened to Brother Feng. Chapter 657. When Sima Yue heard this, she immediately became nervous. She grabbed Bei Gongheng's hand and asked anxiously, Feng, what happened? Where is he now? Brother Feng is in his room. Before Bei Gongheng could finish his words, Sima Yue left him behind and ran toward Shimenfeng's house. He quickly chased after her. Sima Yue saw the front of Shimenfeng's house. Before she entered the door, she heard the sound of crying coming from inside. Feng. She pushed open the half-closed door and went in. She saw Yin Lan and Sang Muyu in the room, their faces gloomy. A strange man sat on the edge of the bed while Kong Sengyi stood beside him, sobbing nonstop. And Shimen Feng was lying on the bed unconscious. Seeing his pale face, she was stunned. Feng, what's wrong? Yue, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. What's wrong with Feng? She called out. The strange man sitting on the bedside stood up and said, We were attacked. Shimen Feng released the seal. Then it became what it is now. Sima Yue's body swayed when she heard the words release the seal. She grabbed onto the door frame to stabilize herself. Hang. Go to the heavenly sect and find teacher Gulang in the medical department. Ask him to come over. She ordered Bei Gongheng, who was rushing over. Alright. Bei Gongheng saw the way Sima Yue was behaving and didn't say anything else. He took off running outside. Yue, quickly take a look at him. Yin Lan said. Sima Yue ran to the bedside. She took a deep breath and grabbed her clothes with her left hand to calm herself down. Then she grabbed his hand and started to check him. Did you give him a heart protection pill? After checking for a while, she turned around and asked Kong Sengyi. Yes. I've always been worried about when Feng would break through the seal. I heard from Jingwen that the heart protection pill would be useful for him. So I've always kept it with me. Kong Sengyi said. After he killed those people, I gave him one pill. Since then, he has been taking one pill every day. Today is already the 4th day. When Jingwen saw that Sima Yue knew that Shimen Feng had taken the heart protection pill just by taking his pulse, he looked at her with more interest. Because the heart protection pill only protected the heart a little bit, it was very difficult for ordinary people to detect it. Before coming here, he had heard that her medical skills were very good. It seemed that this trip was not in vain. Sima Yue's fierce expression softened a little. The heart protection pill was considered a relatively precious pill. One pill was worth 1,000 taels of gold. Kong Sengyi actually prepared so many. Yue, how's the situation with Feng? Sang Muyu asked the question that Kong Sengyi had been wanting to ask. Because that aura was suppressed. Once it regained its freedom, it's crazily attacking Feng's body. Now his internal organs are being corroded very badly. Luckily, the heart protection pill protected Feng's heart, so he didn't die immediately. Sima Yue said. I'll give Feng some acupuncture to stabilize the aura. You guys go out first. I'll stay and help you. Jingwen said. Sima Yue looked at Jingwen, then looked at Kong Sengyi. They should be on the same side if they could be invited by her. Also, it was inconvenient for her to do some things alone. It would be better if there was a man around. Okay, help me take off all his clothes. There's no need to take off his underwear. Then rub this all over his body. She handed a green medicine bottle to Jingwen, then took out her tools and started to prepare. Xiangyi, if I'm not out by the time teacher Gu arrives, let him wait outside for a while. She looked at the silver needles and instructed without raising her head. Yes. Kong Sengyi was the last to leave, closing the door behind him. Yin Lan and Sang Muyu saw that Kong Sengyi still had tears on his face, and comforted him. Yue is back, Feng should be fine. Okay. Kong Sengyi looked back at the door full of worry. Let's just wait here. Yin Lan said. I wonder if Yue can cure Feng this time. Sang Muyu and Yin Lan had a big age difference. But because their children were close in age, and they had always lived together. They became good sisters. I see that although Yuyue's expression is worried, there's no despair. There should still be hope. Inlon said. Yuyue, this child. It's been hard on her these 2 years. If anything happens at this time, I'm afraid. I believe in her medical skills. There won't be any problems. Inlon said confidently. The 3 of them waited in the courtyard for a while. Sima Lai brought 2 people in from outside. Seeing that they were all outside, he asked, "Why are you here? How's Feng'er's condition?" "Yue's back, and he's being treated inside." Inlon replied. "Yue's back so soon?" Sima Lai was a little surprised, as he thought that she would only be back after 2 days. "I heard that young Master Yue's medical skills are amazing. Since she's back, there's no need for me," the person who came with Sima Lai said. "I'm really sorry." Sima Lai cupped his hands and said apologetically, "With young Master Yue, I think that the patient should be fine." The manager of Xian Yuan Pavilion said. "I hope so." Sima Lai thought that Sima Yue was inside, and his heart relaxed a lot. If Shimin Feng was really gone, he couldn't imagine what Yue would be like. Since Yue is inside, it's not convenient for us to disturb her. Since that's the case, why don't the 2 of you follow me to the living room to have a cup of tea? Brother Sima is too polite. We're also very concerned about the situation inside. Why don't we wait here together? The manager of Xian Yuan Pavilion said. That's fine too. How about we wait in the pavilion? Okay. Please. Sima Lai brought the 2 of them to the pavilion. Sang Muyu consciously prepared tea for the 3 of them, and then returned to the entrance to continue waiting with Inlon. At the same time, Bei Gongheng also waited for a while at the entrance of the academy. From time to time, he would look inside the academy, and when he saw Gulang's figure, he hurriedly ran over. Teacher Ge. Gulang was originally discussing with the group of students, and when he heard that Sima Yue had sent someone to find him, he was a little surprised. Didn't she just leave? Why did she send someone to find him again? However, he guessed that something must have happened since Yue was so anxious to find him. Thus, he dismissed the students and hurriedly went to the entrance of the academy. You're Yue's child. Gulang recognized Bei Gongheng. Yes. Teacher Ge, Yue wants you to go over now. Bei Gongheng said anxiously. Didn't you say you'll go tomorrow? What happened? Brother Feng broke through the seal, and now his life is in danger. Teacher Ge, can you come with me now? Okay. Let's hurry over. Gulang naturally knew what would happen if Shimin Feng broke through the seal, and urged him. I took a beast carriage here. Teacher Ge, get on. Bei Gongheng welcomed Gulang into the carriage, and drove the carriage out of the academy gate. Chapter 658. When Gulang and Bei Gongheng arrived home, Sima Yue and Jingwen were still in the house. Seeing Gulang come in, the steward of the Xinyuan Pavilion and the doctor he brought came to salute him. What's the situation now? Gulang asked. Yue and Jingwen are still inside. They haven't come out yet. We don't know what the current situation is either. Inlon said. Kong Sengyi's tears fell even harder. Gulang was curious about the identity of Kong Sengyi, but now was not the time to be concerned. Creak. The door suddenly opened. Sima Yue and Jingwen walked out, looking exhausted. Sima Yue walked in front of Gulang and bowed to him. Please forgive me for inviting Teacher Gu here so urgently. Why are you still telling me this? How is your brother now? Gulang lifted her hand and said, Feng'er has temporarily stabilized, but this is only temporary. I want to ask the teacher to take a look and see if we can still use that method with Feng'er's condition. Sima Yue said. Okay, let's go in and take a look. Gulang took the lead and walked into the house. Sima Yue followed him. Jingwen thought about it for a moment, then followed him in. Previously, he had only been curious about her, but after the emergency treatment, he only had admiration for her. She actually used those needles to solve the problem that he couldn't do anything about. He had no choice but to admit defeat. Teacher Ge, I just used the silver needle technique to stabilize the qi in his body. Take a look at his condition. Sima Yue said. Gulang nodded. walked to the bedside and sat down. After checking Shimin Feng's pulse, he said after a while, "His condition is better than expected. This is related to the heart protection pill you usually give him." "Yes, I used to refine pills for Feng to improve his internal organs. Xiang Yi also gave him a heart protection pill at that time," Sima Yue said. "What do you think about this situation?" Geleng asked. "I want to use that method on him immediately," Sima Yue said. "Since that aura has already wandered around his body and infiltrated his internal organs, it's impossible to extract it now. It's better to let him refine that aura into his own strength. But he's already completely unconscious, and his consciousness is low. I'm afraid it's impossible for him to refine this strength." Ge disagreed. "But if we don't get rid of this power, it will leave behind a root of illness," Sima Yue said. "If we let his strength stop here forever, he will collapse." "You speak with such certainty. Is there any way for him to take the initiative to borrow the medicinal strength to refine that power? When the time comes, I want to send my divine sense into his body and awaken his divine sense. Then we can refine that aura together," Sima Yue said. "What did you say?" Jingwen exclaimed in a low voice. "Do you know that if you do that, his soul will be awakened and he won't be able to recognize you? It's very likely that he will attack you, and your soul will be severely damaged. Even if he doesn't attack you, you'll still be hurt if you help him refine it." "I know, but I have to do it," Sima Yue said. "Teacher Ge, your method is possible. Can you help me?" Geleng looked at Sima Yue's pleading eyes. He nodded and said, "We're thinking about the same thing. But the risk is too big, so I didn't mention it. But you have to persevere. I'll do my best to help you." "Thank you, Teacher Ge." Sima Yue looked at Geleng with tears in her eyes. Shimin Feng was her only family in her past life. She couldn't lose him again. As long as there was a chance, she had to give it her all. Jingwen looked at the two of them and shook his head. "Since you've decided, I won't disturb you. I'll leave first." "Thank you." Sima Yue nodded at him gratefully. She needed someone she trusted to be by her side. She was worried about Jingwen. If he was here, she couldn't let go of herself completely. Now that he took the initiative to leave, it relieved her of her worries. Jingwen left. Geleng looked at Sima Yue's tired face and said, "His condition isn't urgent. You can rest for a while. I'll prepare the things we need to use." Sima Yue didn't force herself. What she needed to do required a high level of concentration. She had used up a lot of energy to treat Shimin Feng, so it was best for her to recover. Geleng went out to find Sima Lai and the others to prepare a wooden bucket and hot water. She took the opportunity to eat 2 drops of soul fluid and a pill to recover her consciousness. Then she sat on a chair to meditate. Geleng prepared the things, and she was done meditating. The two of them locked themselves in the room. After giving each other a look of encouragement, they threw Shimin Feng into the water to start the treatment. Geleng was in charge of the medicine. She came in front of Shimin Feng and used the bathtub to turn him over. Then she held his face. Their eyebrows touched and a faint halo was emitted from the place where they touched. Shimin Feng felt as if his soul was imprisoned in a dark space. All around him was a bone-piercing cold. He curled up his body in the dark space. He was half asleep, half awake. It was as if he could forget the cold around him and not let himself fall into darkness forever. "Feng air." A gentle call cut through the darkness. He subconsciously looked around. "Feng air, why are you sleeping again? If you don't get up to cultivate, Mother will punish you." "Sister? Feng air, didn't you say we were going to catch a spirit rabbit to roast? If you don't come, little Roar will eat it all." "Sister, where are you? Where am I?" Shimin Feng looked around in the dark and didn't see the person who spoke. "Feng air, you're in a dark room. You have to come out of this room. I'll wait for you outside." "Sister, this is a room? How did I get here?" Shimin Feng grabbed his head. He couldn't remember. "Feng air, don't worry. Listen to sister. Sister is waiting for you outside. She will always be here with you. Let's open this black room together, okay?" Sima Yue felt that Shimin Feng's soul was fluctuating. She quickly comforted him. "You're really my sister?" Shimin Feng asked uncertainly. "Of course. Other than me, Who else do you want to be your sister? Shimin Feng almost believed her words. However, the scene of Qin Emo bringing him to Shimin Yue's grave suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Your sister is already dead. I buried her with my own hands. Qin Mo's words made Shimin Feng irritable. His hands kept waving in the dark. You're not my sister. My sister is already dead. Who are you? He attacked all around. He obviously didn't hit Sima Yue. However, she spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood flowed from the corner of her mouth into the bathtub and bloomed into a blood-red flower. Chapter 659. Yue. Gulang saw Sima Yue vomiting blood and wanted her to give up, but she raised her hand to stop him. I'm fine. She wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and continued to slowly pour her divine sense into Shimin Feng's sea of consciousness. Fenger, have you forgotten? Sister has been reborn. We met outside Yi City. You called me Big Sister. Do you still remember? In front of Shimin Feng's eyes, the scene of his sister's soul living in a safe and unfamiliar woman's body seemed to appear. Sister. Fenger, you remembered me. Sister, are you hurt? Did I hurt you? Shimin Feng could hear the weakness in her voice. Big Sister is fine. Big Sister has been waiting for you outside for too long, but you didn't come out. Big Sister couldn't see you and got anxious. Feng, don't you want to see me? Yes. Shimin Feng eagerly said. Big Sister wants to see you too. Can you come out of that place now? Shimin Feng looked at the pitch-black surroundings and said, Sister, I don't know where I am, and I also don't know where the exit is. It's okay, I'll bring you out. Sima Yue said. Can you sense where I am? Sure. Gather your spiritual energy and burn the darkness in front of you. Sima Yue said. Sister will be with you and guide you out. All right. Shimin Feng condensed his spiritual energy and tried to attack according to Sima Yue's instructions. At the same time, the spiritual energy in his body was activated again. It followed Sima Yue's consciousness and flowed throughout his body. Under the effect of the medicine, it enveloped, devoured and assimilated the aura it encountered. Although it was very slow, it was changing the aura in his body bit by bit. Sima Yue didn't know how much time had passed outside. She only knew that she must highly concentrate on guiding the spiritual power of Shimin Feng. And together with him, she must completely swallow the aura inside his body, and then transform it into his own strength. Shimin Feng had been fighting against the darkness. Towards the end, he already had his own consciousness and knew what he was doing. He also knew that Sima Yue was helping him. He wanted to do it himself, but he couldn't. He hadn't completely come out of the dark environment. A little bit of light, a little bit more, a little bit more. When he left the dark environment, he felt the bindings on his body disappear, and his eyes seemed to be able to open. Sister. He opened his eyes and saw a pale face. Feng, you finally woke up. She let go of Shimin Feng's cheek and slid down the bathtub. Big Sister. Shimin Feng wanted to get up and help her up, but was pushed back. Gulang pressed down on his shoulder and said, Although you've already woken up, you haven't completely refined the aura in your body. Just stay here and continue. She'll be fine. Shimin Feng still wanted to struggle, but Gulang roared. Your sister fainted because of you. If you get up, all your previous efforts will be wasted. Do you want your sister's hard work to go to waste? Shimin Feng was stunned. He saw Gulang let go of him and went to carry Sima Yue and put her on the bed. He sat back, clenched his teeth and closed his eyes to continue refining. Gulang was right. He couldn't let his sister's efforts go to waste. He had to finish the rest. Gulang gave Sima Yue a pill and turned to look at Shimin Feng. Seeing that he continued, he was relieved. Shimin Feng finished refining the remaining aura, and then together with the aura he refined before, he poured it all into the spiritual pool. A large amount of energy was poured in, allowing him to advance in the bathtub. When he finished advancing, his body returned to its best condition. The organs that were corroded by the dark aura were also quickly repaired, returning to their original state. Not bad. Gulang looked at Shimin Feng and nodded. Then, he sat weakly by the bed and took out a pill to eat. Shimin Feng came out of the bathtub and put on his clothes. He bowed to Gulang and said gratefully, "Thank you, Teacher Gu, for saving my life." Gulang waved his hand and said, "No need to thank me. It was your sister who saved you." "Sister she?" Shimin Feng looked at her pale face and felt his heart ache. "She injected her divine sense into your body for half a month, guiding you to refine the dark aura. At first she was injured by you. Luckily it went smoothly." Gulang said, "Sigh, I old Gu, have lived for hundreds of years, and have never seen someone so desperate. But luckily, this guy has strong spiritual energy. Otherwise, the two of you would be finished this time." "Then how is sister now? Will she be in danger?" Shimin Feng asked. "There is no danger, but her divine sense was seriously injured this time. I'm afraid it will take some time for her to recover." Gulang shook his head and said, "When she wakes up, tell her that the things she prepared have been used up due to some changes in the situation. Only this Earth's eye is left. Luckily, she prepared a lot of Earth's eye. If she prepared according to her previous estimates, I'm afraid you will be completely hopeless." Originally, it was 8 tails. In the end, Sima Yua brought back almost 2 caddies. In the end, she spent more than 1 caddy and left a little in the box. Gulang handed the box to Shimin Feng and said, "When she wakes up, she must rest well for a period of time. It would be best if she could stay in bed for a week and recuperate for a month. During this period of time, remember not to use your divine sense. It would be best if you don't even think about anything." "All right, there's nothing else to say. I'll go back to the academy first." Shimin Feng held the box and bowed deeply with both hands. He said, "Master Ji's kindness today, Shimin Feng will remember it in my heart." Gulang waved his hand and walked past him. He opened the door and went out. Kong Sengyi and Jingwen were still waiting outside. When they heard the door open, they were shocked. Seeing Gulang come out, Kong Sengyi wanted to go up and ask how Shimin Feng was doing. But before he could say anything, he saw Shimin Feng also walk out of the house. "Feng, you're fine." Kong Sengyi rushed over and hugged him tightly. Shimin Feng was speechless at Kong Sengyi's reaction. His hands hung in the air. He didn't know whether to push her or not. "Don't be like this. I'm still fine." He helplessly comforted her. "I knew it. Yue will definitely save you," Kong Sengyi cried. But this time, it wasn't tears of worry and self-blame. Instead, it was tears of joy. "Let go. I still have to send Master Gu off." Shimin Feng finally put down his hands and patted her shoulder. "Why send me off? It's not like I can't find the way. I can walk on my own." Gulang said, "Master Gu, let me send you off." Jingwen was shocked when he saw Shimin Feng come out. Now that Kong Sengyi was so excited, he would send this teacher off on behalf of his master. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.